Side, please. Emergency official business, ma'am. Side, please. Side, please. Thank you. Official business, sir, ma'am. Emergency, please step aside, sir.
Hey, get lost. I'm waiting here, huh?
FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? Excuse me, sir, ma'am, please, back off. All right, I need 8 double tall.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This is the Hot Toys Wizards, brothers, cousins, sisters, uncles, nephews, nieces, boyfriends, girlfriend. And you have to wonder, do I have some juicy news that even tops the hot? What is it with this coffee? Listen, I'm going to get this right. You better stop it. This is the Hot Toys Wizards, brothers, cousins. What does this mean? All the time. Always getting this. I'm the one that has the news, brother.
This is an emergency interruption from Aries Tarrington, the Dark Jedi himself, the most interesting man in the galaxy. And you have to wonder, is it possible that I have even more information than even the Hot Toys Wizard? Is it possible that I am more interesting of a man than the Hot Toys Wizard? And I say, stay thirsty, my friends.
Look, I'm just about going to give up on this. It is Saturday night, and it's 6 Scale Cantina. What you going to do when the Dark Jedi goes live on you? Welcome to another episode of the Market Value Chart Show right here at 6 Scale Cantina. And just in case you don't know just who I am the Dark Jedi, Aries Tarrington, about to serve up all the Star Wars Hot Toys talk along with Lane. Lane is in the house, and also along with the Star Wars bloke, Luke is in the house. What is going on? Lane, what you going to do when you're on a show with Aries? Come on, baby.
All I can tell you, I know what I was going to do was I was coughing and laughing up such a storm for the previous 30 seconds. I was in like, oh my gosh, I was losing my marbles there because.
Well, listen, we don't want you to lose your marbles. Maybe we need to get hold my balls in here.
You're an interesting man, Aries. This is gonna be fun.
Thank you so much.
You're aware I'm coming off like COVID and stuff, so I still have reaction. If I laugh, I start coughing up a storm. But I can see that is going to be part of your plan to make me suffer tonight and order CC9, coughing up 9 lungs.
But listen, I've got all the coffee to help you quench your thirst and kind of help that cough, keep it a mellow. But yes, I was I had to hold in. I wasn't really allowed to laugh. I had to, just kind of get these guys out of here, and kind of do, my own thing to get this Wizard's cousin thing. Elaine, good to have you in here. Always a lot of fun.
It's
a
always fun to do.
subscriber in here. This is another subscriber panel, Lane, because we got Luke in here, the Star Wars bloke. Gosh, you both been subscribed forever. Luke, welcome.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me, Aries. Nice to meet you in the relative flesh lane. It's good. I'm excited to chat to you boys about this. It's been good to watch your show, and glad to be on. So thanks for the invite.
Oh, heck yeah.
I think I see one figure that Luke's going to go ahead and send me if he wants to there in the background.
Which one's that? Which one's that? Krennic or the Grievous? Yeah. Definitely the Grievous. No,
that's okay. That one can, as Aries,
the Grievous. Where's the Grievous? I got. Oh yes, I see that. Yes, right there.
I, as Aries could probably tell you in much of the chat, I have not had a very good experience with General Grievous in the past.
Yeah, I mean he takes a couple of hours to do an average.
Well, no, I got his premium format statue, and I was doing an unboxing a couple of weeks ago on YouTube, and he came with the leg broken up. But we got a super chat from Aries. This is something I always wait for, so please go for
it. Well, I almost missed my cue because I was reading the OG fan super chat. So you have to ask me again if it's a question, or you say go for it. Start the show.
Well, no, I'm just saying. We need to hear it now.
Hear what?
You say a thing. The name that's before you, sir. You are the only one who says this full name in just that way.
Okay. Well, I think I got this right. Is this what they call you, or is this what they call Luke?
They call him the Wizard.
Well, I have definitely the only wizarding I did was getting my hair, shortening my hair by going bippity boppity boo.
Bippity boppity. I was just singing that the other day with my daughter. That's crazy that you're bringing up bippity boppity boo. Oh my goodness gracious.
So you're saying we're both old. Okay, gotcha.
In the chat, let us know if you actually know what the heck we're talking about when we say bippity boppity boo. However, I think, Luke, you must be familiar, and same with you, Lane, the OG fan, when Star Wars was just Star Wars with the $2 drop. Come on, dropping the bomb on me. Let me drop it on you. But we got to fill up the table, the table where he's sitting at. Table Oblivion. We got to play this clip. This is Lane's favorite.
I'm Boba Fett. I'm here to see the mayor.
Boba Fett. Do you have an appointment?
Now, Aries, that's a great one, but that's not my favorite. My favorite is always when the Emperor appreciates us, when everybody on the panel and in chat has all come to engage in this wonderful experience, this assistant scale cantina. It's always so
good.
I was almost quick. Almost quick to the
Aries.
It is so good.
This is this is what is always so much fun with this stream is your clips, everybody. Everybody who comes, watches, or engages with you in these always has such a fun time. It is a fun time. Whether you agree with everything said or anything else, it is all you can never say. You will not at least laugh, smile, or get some information before the however long the time is.
Well, it's kind of funny and I appreciate that, and thank you so much. And I know that a lot of people always send me messages. Aries, always so much fun. Look, Luke, I always try to keep it where when I was a kid, I would literally just have so much fun with my friends playing with Star Wars figures. So I was a kid in the 70s. I guess I'm divulging my age. But
just a little.
Well,
a little.
Hey, for heads up, even though it was late 70s, I was a kid in the 70s too. So
then so you understand, basically. I mean, anytime you play with the figures. So we're always like imagining like R2-D2 has the Force and R2-D2 just beat Darth Vader. I mean, like all this ridiculous stuff, but it's fun. I like to have fun with this too.
Yeah, that's why your show is really unique. And I think you've built a great little community around it as well. But not taking yourself too seriously, I think, is important. So it's pretty good. You always make me chuckle, which is a good thing.
Well, let's never forget the original, whatever we've had since then or anything. And, as we gotten older, we can't help it. We analyze stuff. If you sit and watch A New Hope, there are things you go, well, that doesn't make sense. Well, that character did something stupid. They could have turned right instead of left, and that would have made more sense, or whatever. Or that's a big coinky dinky. But you know what? Star Wars. Wow, I didn't mean to say that because that makes me sound like I was 5 years old there. For a second.
It's good.
But always with stars, whether you saw it on VHS, like I'm going to put us time when we were kids, or when we would watch it on VHS tape for the first time in the 80s, or if you caught it in movie theaters or whatever. When you watched A New Hope, and I'm speaking a little bit more with that before we got a lot more of the mythology in the later movies, that movie, for however simple the plot was, how good is good and evil is black and white, it was fun. Star Wars is at the end of the day about having fun. We're
so
good
much fun.
Yeah, we're going to sit and analyze stuff now a lot of times in more modern times, but sometimes, you know what? Even if something is a little bit dumb, part of entertainment sometimes is just in the moment, sit there and watch it. And when you get to the end of the movie, the episode, splurging the series on Netflix, sit there and go back and just, can you sit there like Aries we were just talking about? Did you chuckle? Or like there are 2 or 3 times did you chuckle? And did you have a good time in that moment when you're seeing it? You didn't worry about did it necessarily make sense, but were you entertained? Did you have fun? Star Wars is about fun at the end of the day.
It's about fun. It's about fun.
So have fun when you're watching it. You could be watching Star Wars the 40th time or the first time, and you can have fun.
And listen, unlike you and I, Lane, this never gets old.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
That has more meaning now. Thanks in modern context, that has even more meaning now than it did maybe even back 40 years ago, 45 years ago almost. Gosh,
so, Lane and Luke, let's say hi to some of the people in here. 57 in here already. Listen, everybody who's in here, we will serve you up. Luke below here, the Star Wars bloke, and Lane in here. Add myself, the Dark Jedi. Go ahead and hit the like button as we go ahead and serve you up. We have got in here 808 Michigan Jedi. What is going on, my friend? I think we all know that he is sitting with the little green guy here at table 88, and also the little green guy at table 5. Come on, OG fan, thank you so much for that super chat. Great way to start it in here. Ash, what is going on? Good morning to you as well. Great to have you in here. Thule is in the cantina. Come on. Come on here. And we have got Femme Fatale Fett. I have a major Boba fetish. Need cocktails badly. So listen, Lane, you get to have this again. Let's play the other one, man.
Some
I tell you what, Luke,
martinis there.
I really wonder. I wonder how many takes did they have to do for that particular scene there for Ian McDermott to actually get that.
I reckon he nailed that in one for sure. The guy's a legend.
Oh, he's so good. He's always a guy I felt like who should have had more, role. Of course, it's hard to think of. He was only like in his 30s when he actually played the Emperor back in Return of the Jedi. I always felt we should have seen more. Like if you love watching him in Sleepy Hollow when he was cast in that or something.
I didn't realize he was in Sleepy Hollow. There you go.
Sleepy Hollow. Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
And Femme Fatale Fett. I think a lot of us have a Boba Fett fetish with how Boba Fett is selling guys in the
well, that's how he's so popular. It is because fandom has a fetish with that character.
Punisher says, guys, same here, Aries. Loved playing with my 3 3/4-inch Star Wars figures as a kid. Come on. And JB is in the house. Ooh. Just back from watching Star Trek. Come on.
Nice.
There you go. Come on, so good. I love Star Trek. It's actually my father's #1 IP. As much as I am a Star Wars crazy nutcase fanatic, my dad is that way with Star Trek. Come on.
I would say, Aries, though, it is probably good you are more a Star Wars fanatic right now than if you were a Star Trek fanatic for 1/6 scale collector, because that means the only current thing you would have to look forward to is that Scott Blahula figure that's coming from Exo, because that face is definitely not like our boy Moff Gideon here.
Here's your boy Moff Gideon.
Yeah,
so let's blow it up for a second here. Show that up there again, Lane. Go ahead.
Well, here I was showing you guys because I actually set up, of course, what is the battle of the two biggest IPs at Disney? Marvel versus Star Wars. Who will win? Of course, it's going to be the guy with the laser sword. We all know that.
You have to wonder. Guys. Goodness gracious. Sean Smith says, Luke and Lane, it's a fun channel. Echoing in there. Thank you so much there, Sean Smith. And the Thor is in the house. So listen, I know we got so many topics, but we're kind of just hanging out. We'll get to them all. We're having fun. It's like cheers in here. And I think we know it's the Thor. He's at table 2. So we have to play this, fellas.
This drink, I like it.
I know, it's great, right?
Another.
And Hold My Balls is in the house.
Speaking
What is going on? Also got to fill him up at table 2. He's hanging out with the Thor. Here you go, old
Coffee regular. You know, that's breast milk.
Man, I needed to remember that. I remember I saw that with my parents. Like, I don't know, what was that? 89 it came out or something like that in movie theaters. My parents made me go watch them with that and my little sister. And I
John Travolta making a resurgence after, Saturday Night Live. He came out with that Staying Alive. I think it was directed by Stallone's brother. Oh, gosh, those times. But then he went ahead and redid himself. A fabulous actor. Male birthing is in here. What is going on? Good to have you in here. MB Dyson's. Collector Chris says, Aries, what do they call Lane again? He's going to make me play this.
They call him the Wizard.
Aries, where would you be without that short if they had not actually had that scene originally in Psych? Where would you be?
I don't know, because Psych is one of my most cherished, one of my most beloved series of all time. I mean, everybody in there. I mean, what a group. And the fact that they actually put out a movie just about every year or every 2 years, I think it's like every 2 years they're already working on Psych.
Those people work really hard on that show. Really hard on that show.
So even though the series is over, every couple of years they have a reunion and they have like a 2-hour movie. So I don't know if you've known that, but you can get it, I think, on Peacock. So they have Psych the Movie 1, Psych the Movie 2, and we just watched Psych the Movie 3. So I'm looking forward to next year seeing Psych the Movie 4. So they keep it going. It's pretty awesome. Awesome.
William K had a good day today.
William K had a good day. I'll have to get.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'll have to get to that. Knight of Ren says he wants a round at table 40, guys. I think you know that is the most cold, frozen, chilling table in the cantina.
Oh, really? You're cold?
I know Harrison Ford didn't love playing Han Solo, I guess later or something. But man, it was so much fun seeing him in The Force Awakens, because he actually looked like he sort of maybe cared while he was in it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great actor. I think he's just over all the Star Wars stuff. Did you see? Is it Jimmy Fallon show where he pulled apart?
Oh yeah, famously the Han Solo.
Yeah, I only recently saw that. It kind of broke my heart a little bit.
Especially because that figure's really hard.
He has a way.
He has a way, yeah. Heartbreaker. he's always been a heartbreaker.
He's definitely a heartbreaker. Combat Evolve is in here saying, don't forget to like and subscribe. Good to have you in here, Combat. Good to have Eric in here saying, great panel. Yes, I'm excited to have Luke. Excited to have Lane. Rod is in here. Insane One, what's going on? This is the way to 100 likes. Like and subscribe. Do appreciate that. Star Wars Addict is in here. Come on. Good to have you in here. Sean Smith, what is up to you as well, my good friend? Link is in the house. Link, another Cantina insider in here. Do appreciate that. Add your support. Same thing with Star Wars Addict 88. Good to have you in here. Mark Attack wants to know, are you Sean Connery now? I think I'm just the most interesting man in the world. Let's go ahead and leave it at that, like Luke said in there so elegantly. Gosh, so many comments.
Who not only, but who only drinks Jawa juice, because that is the only thing worthy of the 1/6 scale, most interesting what's good scale man in the galaxy.
You see me drinking this, and I've got spotchka. Chill,
just right.
But I do have the wizard juice in the off-road.
As long as you don't have any Luke Skywalker Acto approved blue melt, will be okay. If we don't have any of that, Aries, if you start going that Aries, then Luke and I are going to have to do an intervention, because we got to get you on something else there that'll help keep you nice, fit, and strong.
Hey,
I got to try it.
Did you see William's comment, Aries?
Let me check it out, Luke. Let me see.
That's pretty amazing.
Where is William? Let me scroll up to here. William is it under William. Oh, I missed somebody here. I see Mafia's in here too. Gonna have to put. Good to have you in here, Mafia. Where's William? I can't see it.
He's 5 minutes 36 seconds.
5 minutes 36.
He's had an excellent day.
Yeah, he was the one who I was referring to. Man, he had a good day.
Is he all the way up in the chat?
All the way up, but it's definitely worth finding.
All right, I'm gonna try here, everybody. Welcome, who's in here, William. 5 what?
Well, if not, I will relay it to you if you can't find it. Exactly what he said.
8:36.
Oh, 8:36.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking by my time.
8:36. William Cote. Where's William? All right, let's see. Here we go. We got him. 58 in here. Smash the like button. William says, today was a good Star Wars day for me. Met Emily Swallow, Amy Allen. No freaking kidding. Oh, baby. Where is?
That's a big day.
Ahmad Best. Where is Ayla Securo? Where is Jar Jar Binks? I'm going to lose my mind over here. Daniel Logan, Spencer Wilding, Carrie Jones. Good time. Got some new signatures to display with some of my toys. Guys, Lane, Luke, is that worthy of a coffee spill clip or no?
Yeah, that's a coffee spill.
That's 2 or 3 in a row, sir.
All right, 1. And Lane says 2. 3, like TK.
So good.
Congratulations on that. That is...
Yeah.
William, I have a question for you if you're able to type in chat. I think I had saw you maybe do a Facebook post like this afternoon. Had you had the signature put like next to the old, like the Ayola Sakura Sideshow figure and stuff? I think you had to set up along with one next to the armor and your Detolf shells. Because I think I saw you may have posted that. I'm just curious if that was you who posted those up.
Yeah, we'll see if he go ahead and responds to that. Good stuff there. And somebody in here is asking me, Rob Rod, Aries, what's your opinion on the Sideshow Obi and Anakin? You're talking about the Clone Wars, right?
We're going there. We're going to go there.
I did they just let me ask you, Luke and Lane, did they just release those?
People have gotten them, and
they're shipping.
But let's just put it this way. If you could take the quality, I'm just going to compare the Anakins right now. If you can take the quality of from what is it, 4 or 5 years ago now, and I know it's not exactly fair to compare Sideshow hand for hand with Sideshow, but both those figures are in a Hot Toys price point range for them. Those animated things look like they needed to be. If you had the Revenge of the Sith and like Obi-Wan, and you had the Clone Wars Anakin, let's say, you would look at both of those, go throw them in your garbage can and set them on fire.
Well, wait a minute. I'm a little confused then, guys. because I haven't kept up on that. It must have been obviously this week.
They
very,
did
very
not
recently.
come out good at all. The joints.
Well, but the prototypes were the pictures look good, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about the ones that we were spilling our coffee on.
But the produced ones are
really good.
The produced ones are garbage.
Yeah, I've had a few friends. Yeah, so a few friends have got them, and I think the three kind of biggest complaints, obviously the portraits, which aren't up to the prototype standard. I think the garments, so like the fabrics and materials, aren't anywhere near as good. But I think the biggest problem that I've heard a few friends have with them is that you can't actually stand them up. They've just got the standard Sideshow bodies, so they haven't updated the. I don't really understand why they don't use like the siphon bodies at this point, because there's so many good manufacturers of bodies in 1/6 scale. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I guess it's just price. They're just trying to make as much as they can.
It's this one for 200. And chat guys, you think is it it's like 245 or 255 for the Obi-Wan and the Anakin, I believe, correct?
Then taxes, then shipping.
Yeah. So that's what I mean when they're maybe not as much as the high end necessarily as we've had some of the Hot Toys figures these days, but they're Hot Toys pricing. They're roughly around the same price as the Arena Boba Fett. Or
I think it's just brutal, like the difference between the prototypes and the releases. Like I don't really understand how that can happen from a large company like that. Like it's really tough. Yeah, because that could have been an absolute home run for Sideshow in terms of that series.
This is the Grievous.
So are we? Is this the one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Wow. So you know what's disappointing about this, and Luke, I'm gonna stay with you on this because this is the first time hearing about that. I thought that these looked absolutely fantastic, and the whole idea, because Hot Toys was going the route of using the real actor's head sculpt, the real human version. So Sideshow jumping in on this with the Ahsoka, the Obi-Wan, and all the other ones are doing. I'm like, wow. For a lot of the Clone Wars animated series collectors that just want the real look of this was ingenious. But it was
super clever. So I mean, I think this image here is still the prototype image. So you've got like contouring and quite good detailing on the face. And then in the vast difference, if you have a look at some of the released images, is just quite extraordinary. But like you said, Aries, like the biggest thing here is that it was such a unique line that I think it would have done so well. And I think even if people were collecting, maybe like myself, the Hot Toys Clone Wars range, I think I would have still probably lent into this for a display as well. So yeah, I think it's an absolute miss from them. It's really quite sad that they produce such a poor figure. I hope, I mean, the Ahsoka looks really good. The Yoda looks really good on the prototypes. So let's see what happens there. But if they're releasing the same loose bodies and, the fabrics and materials are where they're at, it's a pass from me, unfortunately.
No, Luke, good thoughts. And we got 68 in here. Go ahead and smash that like button. You're watching Saturday Night Market Show, 6 Scale Cantina. I've got Luke in the house here, the Star Wars bloke. I've got Lane in the cantina as well. Lane, let's go to you. Luke has some good comments there. Did they also release the Obi-Wan, Lane, or is this the first one?
Yeah, both of them have been released, and they both are supposed to have what he was saying with the fabric issues. And they're supposed to have issues with the joints. I've read that the leg joints are supposed to be very loose on them, which obviously not surprising. Look at the Grievous, Sideshow makes me crazy sometimes with this. Sorry, I know you got him in the back there and everything.
No, he's horrendous.
Yeah,
he looks fine if he's posed, but yeah, it takes a lot of.
It's just Sideshow keeps literally shooting themselves in the foot, because I think they could have really done a nice inroads with this entire figure line. It's something different in their own thing. It's not really with their look and style. They are not competing directly with Hot Toys. And I just think that, I would disagree with you a little bit on the Ahsoka prototype. I thought the Ahsoka prototype did not look at all look that good. to me. The facial sculpt and stuff, I didn't like that facial sculpt for that figure. I think the Yoda looked amazing to me. Like that was dead on. Like if you had him just walk off your television screen. But my faith now, so even if these were decent, like maybe they didn't turn out exactly, but they were like 85% or 85 to 90% of how these look, I think I would have faith. But now I honestly, if I look at it, I expect Yoda to look like junk, and I expect Ahsoka to look like junk when the finals come out.
Yeah, because here's the thing, guys. And I mean, and Clone Trooper says, so disappointed with these figures. I was ready to go all in on this animated line. And you know what's disturbing about this, Luke, is Sideshow is an established company. And sometimes, you don't know what you get until it's actually out. You could have these prototypes out. Like from Hot Toys, they give us prototype after prototype. And honestly, recently, they've been making, in my opinion anyway, the final product even better than what we've been seeing in the prototypes. And you would think it loses a little bit of edge, from the original, like it used to. It's like, oh, wow, look at all that fine detail. The head sculpt loses a little. Not lately with Hot Toys, but Sideshow, this is a little disturbing. And it goes to show that you don't know what you're getting until it's out, unless is it because they're just, I mean, they messed up with Grievous too.
Yeah, I mean, Grievous is almost, I mean, it's not excusable, but, like they basically didn't update the figure, right? And it was released a long time ago. So, but releasing new figures in 2022, like a completely new range, and still using loose bodies and letting something go out with the paint apps is the way they are, that just seems crazy. Like it's just reputation, damning, which is the most difficult thing.
Well,
the Ahsoka, you're right, Lane. Like the biggest thing for me on the Ahsoka was that they, with the fabric on the legs, they kind of had iron-on decals as opposed to like cut out, where you could see information. So yeah, they're even kind of, I don't know. Who knows what they're doing? Who knows? I did like, there's a comment up top from Thor, who quoted Yoda, and I think that's good advice for Sideshow.
Someone better tell Sideshow what Yoda said: do or do not. There is no try.
Well, the comment I locked in on for fun is a little bit older now, but was when Clone Trooper said for the head sculpts, he goes, the head sculpts look like they melted in an oven and they got painted by 8-year-olds. I'm not sure quite that.
Well, wait a minute. He said melted in an oven. So it wasn't delicious like this out of the oven.
You're delicious, bro.
Ciao, boys.
Not Pizza Hut approved. Pizza Hut approved.
Golly. That clip always gets me. That's so gross, man.
That movie is, what's one thing, you guys have to admit, if they put out, like for some way, Hot Toys or whatever, put out a Darth helmet and like a Lone Star, you guys have to admit you would probably day one pre-order those.
Oh, I wouldn't day one pre-order it, but I'd buy it, baby.
Yeah, that's like,
because I don't day one pre-order anything, but I'd buy it.
But I like, one of my like bucket list things of figures I would like to get in 6L. I really want one of Rick Moranis' character.
Oh,
like
man.
I want to put him with his Schwartz versus Darth Vader. Like I want to be able to pose them together. I know why Disney would never, ever, 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 ever allow that to happen.
That's definitely a unique fetish there, Lane. That's very unique.
Absolutely. And let's go through some of these comments here, guys, about this particular figure here. Kaju Daddy says, good to have you in here. The question then becomes, how long does this line last? Since the vast number of collectors won't be in on this, will Hot Toys see the market for this and pounce later down the line? I think Hot Toys will continue to just stay in their lane with the head sculpts. I don't see them. I think they ventured in giving us the Clone Wars Ahsoka, but it's very lifelike. It's not really animated. Like it's very close to Rosario, honestly. I think, Luke. Anyway, it's not her, but it's close.
Definitely. I can't see Hot Toys doing an animated aesthetic because it takes them down a path I don't think they can kind of continue with, which I think one thing they do really well is although they don't finish lines, they keep consistent with their aesthetic. But I think the biggest problem, and this comment's really great, is that people will buy this, particularly collectors that maybe are newer collectors or haven't experienced maybe a Hot Toys before, or aesthetically like what they see on the images. And I think that's the biggest travesty, is that people are going to buy this. It's going to be a really poor experience for a collector, particularly if they're new, and that's not a good experience for anyone. That's not good for Sideshow. That's not good for Hot Toys. So yeah, it's a massive problem, this line, I think, for everybody.
And 808 actually says, no matter how much Sideshow tries with figures, these figures aren't worth the 230 plus price point. Look, 808's right, Lane. 255. We're going to get into that Grand Inquisitor later in the show once we,
it's the same price.
It's freaking $5 difference, and it's so much. It's better than it's to begin with, but when it looks that good, but you can't fail on this. I mean, this is a disaster. Now that I'm hearing it, it's kind of crazy.
If these were made pretty good and made well, think about it. Like, wouldn't you like? I mean, as much as I like, how the like, just use the Grand Inquisitor as an example. As much as I think I actually like how the live action, Obi-Wan version of it looked. Imagine if this was really successful and they eventually had done like a Rebels, as much as I like I think the Rebels, as an animated alien kind of look, I think he looks way scarier and way more intimidating. It looks way cooler. We could have maybe gotten something like him and that wouldn't compete with the Hot Toys version. We could have gotten, 3 or 4 years from now, an animated version of that guy, which we would have been like, dude, that is so cool, for in the original style. But I think, do you guys, would you think that I could see, because I think we're going to have a little bit of a lull in like the Clone Wars line of stuff for a little while, but because this could crash and burn eventually in the next year or so, I think that might encourage Hot Toys to come back to it with some more different clone troopers or other stuff, after like Attack.
It's a good point. No, go ahead, Luke.
I was going to say, I think what's really interesting on the Rebels line is obviously we've got Ahsoka series coming out. We've got confirmed Sabine Wren, and I think we've got confirmed is it Ezra? Maybe the chat know that. Yeah. So if we get those two characters, like, it'd be really interesting to see them complete with Kanan and Hera Syndulla. So, and Chopper would be amazing.
Oh, we all want Chopper.
We all want Chopper and Hera Syndulla. We need more of that. Wife of 808 says, smash the like button. Thank you so much, wife of 808. Now go ahead, continue, Luke.
So yeah, I think I've got hope for the Rebels crew with Hot Toys, but I think Sideshow. I don't know if they will release any more prototypes. I think that's a good point in this range if it doesn't, have the traction that it had. And I think the biggest challenge for them is this range had so much traction. Like, everyone was so excited about it, like across the board. Like, it wasn't as though, people were slagging off Sideshow for this range. People were really excited for them. There was a lot of anticipation for it. And it's just a complete miss. So it's a real shame for that company more than anything,
Yeah, no, that's a great point there, Luke. And Clone Trooper says, Luke, it's generally a grievous mistake. And I
General Kenobi, you are a bold one.
Walked right into that one.
Yeah, all I can say, is that I've had from a couple of people on Facebook since my broken Grievous statue, and because I sold my dark side Anakin to help pay for them, I have had Grievous mistake sent to me so many times in like the last 2 weeks or so that I'm just like, I get the joke, guys. I get the joke. But this has me worried for it, because I'm not usually, I mostly do Hot Toys, but I was actually of a line I was interested in, but now I don't think I'm going to get any of it. is the Clint Eastwood series. Like they're doing The Man with No Name, The Preacher from Pale
Mm-hmm.
Rider,
Mm-hmm.
and The Dirty Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Especially The Man with No Name one. Like that's one of my favorite movie series, like of all time. I've watched those movies so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But seeing where, you know, we had Grievous, you know, the year before, even though, okay, it's kind of a reshoot of an old figure, but that these guys came out like that. Why? And those figures, the Eastwood ones are more expensive. They're like $275 or $280. What?
No,
Well,
and
why
a day when
why do you have faith in one of those?
Yeah, and in a day and age where sometimes collectors always look for a Hot Toys alternative, one way or another, you just can't make a mistake like this. But I'll be honest with you, Hot Toys does have figures that are so that are less than $255 even still. I mean, again, I hate to go back to that Grand Inquisitor because we're going to get into that after some other stuff later in the show tonight. But $5 difference.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
crazy.
too big of a mess up. It really is.
A good segue from Clint Eastwood lane is from Night of Ren 789 in the chat is the Cad Bane, which we didn't mention that Sideshow had the animated Cad Bane.
That was another
one. I really hope that Cad Bane is good, and the only hope we have for that is that Sideshow do tend to do creatures and from the Star Wars universe relatively well. Like, although their bodies are loose, like the previous Cad Banes they did in the Disguise was pretty good figure, still holds up. And I think the figures that hold up from Sideshow even 10 years ago are generally the Star Wars creature line. So maybe the Cad Bane's good because, you know, like I think putting that in even with the Hot Toys is a potential.
Well, Luke, let me stay with you. I'll read this real quick. Punisher says, Sideshow said they are at the same level as Hot Toys. Laugh my favorite apple off. Well, make the apples. I love apples. But what can Sideshow do to correct this? Can they correct this? Can they, first of all, address this? A. B. How would they address it if they address it? C. Do they just have to hit the Ahsoka and the Cad Bane and the Yoda and some of those out of the park and maybe address it as well? Can they fix this? Because I still think a lot of people would be interested in this line. But sometimes you fool me once and you fool me twice, because I think this is coming off the grief is why I think it's bad.
I think the only way they fix this is come out and issue an apology. And I think the chance of them doing that is like slim to none. You know, I think that what we're seeing here is that this is an acceptable. It's becoming normal that this is an acceptable release from Sideshow, which is the real problem. I refuse to believe that they don't have people internally that know the quality control issues, because, you know, they go through all this work producing these prototypes. They've got a great creative team at Sideshow, you know, that work across a number of things in their statues department. I mean, they hit so many home runs in that capacity. You know, they know what good quality, you know, Star Wars collectibles or other collectibles are. So yeah, I think they need to issue an apology and they need to re-release the figures. And I think them doing that is close to zero, if not negative percentage points.
No, and Lane, what do you think about that? I mean, I kind of agree, but what do you think about Luke's comments there? And from your perspective, what can they do? Can they do anything to take care of this?
I think that, I mean, I guess if they are just like, hey, we will, I mean, they're not going to do it. I would say for customer service thing, they need to like suspend sale on these figures and get new bodies get new bodies for these things. And then I guess allow people to return in exchange, you know, like the Hot Toys did for the Tony Stank head sculpt, like that program or something like that.
Yeah.
I know they're not going to do it. It's too expensive. And I mean, this is kind of a niche line. This is not like the Clint Eastwood, which could have your random person look, hey, there's a man with no name. There's a collectible. I'll buy him, you know, kind of thing. But this is, to me, like, okay, occasionally Hot Toys does stub its toe. Like they can put out a bad figure or something like that, but they stub their toe. Sideshow takes a big old bowling ball and drops it on their foot every single time.
Right, but when Hot Toys makes the Hot Toys like flies on rice, correct it real quick, and I think
well, I mean, they can stub their toes sometimes with some of their releases are not as good as they look. Like I think that Bucky is a little wonky. It didn't turn out necessarily quite as good. I don't mean they released something that's absolutely broken, you know, but I mean they kind of for their figure quality sometimes they might stub their toe, like, you know, 1 out of every 40 releases or something like that. One may not be great, but Sideshow drops a bowling ball because almost every single time, maybe not always. This one just sounds really bad, but there seems to be with almost all their figures, most of the time, every figure seems to have some kind of problem with it. You know, there's a big difference between doing those two things.
Yeah, I think, I think the only range that Sideshow, and I really hope that they continue it, I think the Mythos range that Sideshow do is actually really great from an aesthetic perspective, although the bodies on the Obi-Wan and the Boba Fett Mythos models are super loose and they need to update them. But visually, everything they've done there, even the sculpt on the Obi-Wan is pretty on point. So they clearly can deliver to that level. Like, it's not Hot Toys level because of the body is poor, but you know, everything else about those figures is superb. So yeah, I think someone messed up. Maybe they had an issue where the factory refused to repaint them. You know, they got let down there. But I think they're a big enough company that if that happens, they need to put their hands up and say, hey, there's going to be a massive delay with this range. You know, what we've got back from the factory isn't good enough. And I think collectors would respect them for that. And, you know, if they're striving for that level, trying to even get close to Hot Toys, I think this range would have been a huge success for them financially.
Yeah, I totally agree. And there's so many comments in here, and I'll try to get everybody up. Just keep commenting in there. 6-Scale Mafia's in the house. What's good? Hey there, Anthony. What's good at the cantina? Need an open seat at table 66. Well, let us go ahead and fill up the 6-Scale Mafia, who's going to be having a show later tonight, I think, after mine. And let's play this one here. Never enough of the Emperor, that's for sure.
We need that figure, by the way, Hot Toys, you know, in a couple of years.
Oh, I cannot wait. I mean, they could give
Revenge
it
of the Sith Emperor.
Yeah, that's the one. That's probably of, you know, older Star Wars stuff, you know, non-Disney Plus or other stuff of the older movies. I think that Emperor is probably the one that I want the most. Revenge of the Sith Emperor I would be after the most.
Let me read this from Demtober, Old Man Fett. Good to have you in here asking me a question. What's up, Aries? Big fan of the show. Well, thank you. I'm at table 5, and I'm definitely a huge Boba Fett fan. And the arena suit Fetts are on the way. Yes, they are, and they're on the way up within the secondary market as well. We're going to be getting into that here in just a jiffy. You think they will ever drop a new version of the prototype armor? Let me just answer it like this. And I say yes. Oh my God. You're going to get Boba Fett prototype armor. You're going to get prototype porcelain, marks. You're going to get Boba Fett prototype, Boba Fett great grandma's wallpaper version. God, Luke, everything Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Just like with the troopers.
I mean, they look, I'll be honest. Like, I mean, I like the arena suit Boba Fett. I've been, you know, really getting into my my Dark Horse comics again and those series. But I was a little frustrated that the Hot Toys exclusive release this year was basically a repaint. Like, I really hold out some hope for those releases each year that they get us something new into our hands quickly, or they, you know, do a character that might not have been released otherwise. So I think it's a great release. I love Boba. You know, I have the animated Boba and, you know, a number in my collection, but I really want those exclusives to be unique characters for me. So yeah, I know that's probably not a popular opinion, but yeah.
Well, I would say if they for the exclusive, like, I mean, obviously people wanted the arena suit Fett. I mean, half the people who bought it, I don't think actually knew the comic story, that it was from the comics. It was just a really cool looking Boba
I didn't
Fett.
know it. It just came out in 2021 too.
Yeah. So,
we can still hear you, Lane.
Okay. No, I think
the Hot Toys Wizard enter. Is there a ghost in the machine?
Well, no. What I was going to say is, as much as I think the arena Fett, you know, obviously it's cool. I decided not to pre-order because I'm my Boba throne is my Boba Fett. Well, I knew this was coming, but I will just say, and then we need to go to a super chat. I would have preferred, and I don't know if people other in chat or something, for as much as I know people like the arena Fett, and it has exploded in the secondary market. I mean, up there with the animated Fett alt, I would have preferred Clone Wars Obi-Wan. I think that would have made a perfect.
Oh, yeah. I think that
definitely prefer.
That's a good call.
Even if it had been the one, like, you know,
or Padme.
Yeah, well, yeah,
but it's going to come anyway, though, Lane. That one's still going to come.
Yeah. But I mean, the Clone Wars thing, I think, would even if it was ended up, you know, like they've got that Neo, which was one of the exclusive, but it's like not coming to 2023, and we are like, why are you putting out exclusive that's not going to come till next, like, a year away? Even if, let's say, the Obi-Wan had been that figure, and then it was like a Marvel one or something else was coming this year, I think that would have been cooler, because I think there's a long time collectors, have been kind of waiting for that. And it would have been something they at least already did a prototype of some time ago. So he should be where they could get him produced either this year or, you know, within a reasonable amount of time. So maybe later this year they could have got. I think that would have been cooler than another effect. Now, if it does come eventually, that's fine too. But I just thought that one would have been a more interesting thing to do.
Well, the thing is as long as we keep buying them, they're you know, and there's like I said, there's people that obviously, like we're talking about here, right, Luke? Right, Lane?
Yeah.
That want them, that don't want them. But there's always going to be a certain amount of people that'll buy an animated Fett, buy an arena suit Fett, buy a vintage color Boba Fett. Gosh, I got messages with people saying, hey, I'm not getting the vintage color Fett. But you're always going to get, when they make these exclusives, and it's, you know, 1,500 or 3,000 or 5,000, gosh, they could put out anything with Boba Fett, Darth Vader. Look what they're doing with Marvel. With all the Venomized figures, gosh, right, Luke? I mean, it's kind of the same thing here.
It's hilarious, right? Because like the Boba Fett series, if anything was going to kill a character, it would have been, you know, elements of that show.
Right.
It was very, very poorly received, that show generally. I mean, I think there was aspects of it I really enjoyed, but the hype's still there. People still love Boba Fett, even though that show was so poorly received by the broader fan base. So, you know, he's just such an iconic character.
Well, I think the Mandalorian saved it at the end is what happened. They turned it into the Mandalorian.
Agree. Yeah, 2.5. Yeah. And I think him and the Mandalorian, he was badass in season 2.
Yeah, he was badass. The last show was pretty badass.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, so I think people just love Boba Fett. I think it's the same with clones, isn't it? It's just that aesthetic of you know, the Mandalorian helmets, the clone helmets, stormtrooper helmets, like that aesthetic is just so synonymous with Star Wars that I think anybody, no matter whether you're a fan or not, would kind of see one of those figures and know what it was. So yeah, I don't see them going anywhere. I think the arena suit is a superb release. I just wanted something new as an exclusive.
Well, we get to talk about that when we get into the New York Comic Con, which we're going to do a little bit later in the show. We got so many good topics, 71 in here. Let's smash the like button. And the Don Prime from Geeking Out. Shout out to the guys at Geeking Out. Lane, you go on there sometimes as well. Let's read this comment. The only Sideshow figures that can claim Hot Toys quality is the Sideshow clone trooper, since Hot Toys designed and made the armor for them Hot Toys logo on Sideshow clone boxes. Now, that's a good point, Don. And I know with my man Fabio, little plug there, Aries and Fabio, coming up here on Monday night. Don't forget to watch that, 8 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, I mean, looking at some of those, they're great. But unfortunately, right now, not living up to the standards at all. Adelaide, as you said, the OG fan with another super chat there. must have all Boba Fett's.
All of them.
You know, it's crazy everything that's going on with Boba Fett. And Luke, you bring up a good point because, you know, the series did get some mixed reviews until the Mandalorian showed up, and then they actually ended the show. I don't know if you noticed that, guys. They ended Boba Fett show with Grogu and Mando flying off in that N1 starfighter.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Look, I mean, with the Beskar kid says the vocal minority didn't like the Boba Fett show. I'm not sure if it was the vocal minority. I think that is. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm in my little bubble, but I think there's a unified opinion on that show that maybe it missed the mark. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I actually think I kind of lean more that way, Luke. On the show, I think that some people were kind of bored with the whole Tusken Raider. I think they were expecting more action coming off of the way the last episode with the Mandalorian season 2 went off, and it was really a backstory where he was really. I thought it was fascinating, and so did my family, going through what he did with the Tusken Raiders. I actually thought that the female Tusken Raider was going to come back. There was going to be a little more. She was superb.
Yeah, and you're right. You probably bang on, Aries. It was like the Mando season 2 introduction to Boba Fett was so superb, and then maybe the introduction of the Tusken, characters starting to generate a bit of traction, and then all of a sudden they're just gone. It was like that series was trying to do 2 or 3 things. It probably would have made quite a good movie if it was like an hour and a half movie. Or
I agree with that.
So, and you could say the same about the Obi-Wan show. I think the Obi-Wan show would have been a stronger Star Wars piece if it was a movie, just condensing some of the things. Although I loved the Obi-Wan show a lot more. And I did enjoy the Boba Fett show because, I love all things Star Wars, but I think condensing those into movies would have been potentially better.
It's a good point because I really feel when it comes to the Book of Boba Fett and it comes to the Obi-Wan show, in a way, those are actually movies. And I feel like that they made them into shows. I really do. I feel like it's like a movie and they broke them up into segments. It could have been a movie. Whereas I feel like The Mandalorian is more of a saga, not a saga, a series that goes on, but real interesting. But man, when they put in some of that fan service in there, like we're getting over here, gosh.
Yeah. But the Mandalorian's a new character as well, isn't it? And I think they, every time that they introduce, well, not every time, but when they generally introduce new story arcs and new characters, it tends to do quite well because there's not the historical association or, Star Wars is so emotive. Like Lane and Aries, you both talked about like your association as kids, like playing with the 3 3/4 inch Star Wars toys. And, when you have that emotional memory all the way through and then you see a character develop in a way that wasn't in your mind, that's challenging. Whereas with like the Mandalorian being a new character, or if you look at the whole of the Clone Wars series and the Rebel series expanding on new characters, they tend to. So I'd love to see them, kind of progress with newer storylines, which I think is where they're headed.
Absolutely. And speaking of OG fan, thank you so much there, my friend, for the $2 drop. It is much, much appreciated. And what we're talking about here, let's fill up table 2 with a real heavy hitter sitting there with Thor and with Christy Alley and with John Travolta. Everybody knows this guy.
This is the way.
Who's changed the face of Star Wars, my goodness, from the dark times, from the crazy times.
You took the words literally right out of my mouth there. You mean as he slowly walked out from the dusk of the sun to lift the darkness that was enshrouding all of us from the last 2 sequel movies, or making us drop to our knees and go, my son, the Force, what has happened to my boy, the Force? He's teleporting things and just magically healing magic stuff. And what happened to you when you just shot lightning from people's fingers, man? Things were simpler back then. I gotta save them.
Lightning from fingers. I guess we got to fill up table 66 again.
Yo.
Oh, that was on point. That was on point, Eric.
Yeah,
try to be on point.
But you just blue fingered us there. You cut it off like right before we get the payoff.
Putting this
Just
up from Insane One says, another Cantina insider, thank you so much. They need to hurry and release the N1. Can't hold that space forever. That Jabba the Hutt.
I really hope they release this, but I think should we talk about the N1? Do you want to go there?
We can. I actually think that they're going to do it. But I think that they're going to do it for. I think they're going to do it as partly for marketing, partly to see what happens with it. And I think that they have worked out a way where they're not going to lose, and they have the resources to be able to put it out. And they've went through the logistics on how they're going to ship this big thing, what kind of boxes, so on and so forth, adding that into the price. I actually think that they're finally going to do it. Are they going to continue with them? I don't know. I think that there's some experimentation going on, Luke, as far as with some of the innovation, some of the different things, some of the dioramas that they're putting out there. And we'll have to see.
I think what's really great is there's, obviously, and I'm sure most people know Jazz Inc. As a company, obviously in Europe. And I think what has happened here is there are some really great companies that are starting to produce and release some superb products, be it licensed or unlicensed. And it's really kicking Hot Toys into gear. So I think the only reason they release this or even tease it is because of companies like Jazz Inc. releasing the Snow Speeder or releasing Ray Sand Speeder that I think they teased the Sand Speeder for Ray years ago, right? Hot Toys. And we've had like the Jedi Starfighter that's been teased before. But yeah, I think they have to release this or the Batmobile from the latest Batman movie, because if they don't,
it's like the Boy Who Cried Wolf. It's like how many? It's like
exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, Lane. I don't know what your thoughts are on the N1, but I at one part of me, I feel like it's hard to believe they're never going to do it. But I felt like they went through a lot of hoopla, bringing this to the summer showcase, bringing it to San Diego Comic-Con, putting out and showing figures, not just. And I really thought that they were going to give us a Mandalorian from the book. As a matter of fact, I think anywhere the Mandalorian shows up, I don't care what series. If he shows up he could show up in anything. They're going to put out a figure for that, I believe. But I feel like that they made, the little droid that was helping Pele, go ahead and make the N1 starfighter in the Book of Boba Fett. They put out the little pit droids. I feel like that they have everything ready for it. I just feel like that they're going to do it.
Sorry, I was distracted with something there for a second. But I'm the opposite. I don't think they're going to do it. However, if they were to do it, how I think they should do it is that they should do it. You know how I think it was. You might remember last summer they were doing like exclusively in Hong Kong that Loki that was going to come with all the extra stuff that was actually like they told us it was going to be 1,500 for like that N1. I think they should have it not necessarily the starfighter, but like the box or something like that. I think it should be sometimes like a statue run or something where like they're going to tell us like worldwide, because that thing will just go, let's say it's $1,200. Okay, so it's like the most expensive Hot Toys thing they've ever made.
Yeah,
that they should have it be numbered to help with the exclusive, because for people to want to buy that, I think even for Hot Toys collectors like you guys yourself and stuff, I think they need to add some exclusivity to it. They don't normally do. Have it be numbered. Let us know. It's like
I agree with the number.
300. It's going to be 300 worldwide. We're gonna, it's gonna go.
Oh, if they do something like that, that sells.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
boom.
To keep that, so they can keep their costs under control. They know how they're going to make. And now, knowing Hot Toys, if that sells out in 30 seconds, they might, And I want them to do numbers like that's.
Okay, wait. Let me pause you.
Yeah.
You say what, like 300 or whatever it was there.
Yeah.
They would sell 1,000 of those so easy. I don't even care what the price is. Easy. 1,000. They would. They just would. What do you think, Luke? You think they'd sell 1,000 of those?
Yeah, I do think they would sell them. I don't think people realize how big that thing is, and I don't know how people display that. I really don't.
Like, you're gonna hang it over their bed like a ceiling fan.
It is ginormous. Like I can imagine people pre-ordering this thinking, yeah, meter 20, I got this. And then getting the boxes and just being like, holy moly, what am I going to do?
Dude, can I get an X-Wing if they do this, please? Or a Darth Vader TIE fighter? Gosh, I want the Darth Vader TIE Advanced or whatever the heck they call it there.
Well, I think Jazz Inc. have been talking about a TIE fighter, but the biggest challenge, again, is shipping. So they've been talking about doing the cockpit, not the wings. So like logistically, that's a small company that, know how to ship big stuff. And if they're struggling with, the manufacture of it and the distribution, like the shipping from Hot Toys, unless they subsidize the shipping costs, like factor it into the product price, it's going to be $300 or $400 just to ship that thing with today's shipping prices. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's definitely investment. It's going to be for those collectors that are really going to want that figure, whether they have the room or they just want to know that they have it in there. Femme Fatale Fett, also a Cantina insider, says Sideshow better not slack this time and ship the Arena Fets. Insane one. I'm still waiting on my Crone clones to ship. Let's talk about that. Femme Fatale Fett. You segue us into some very interesting stuff over here, and we'll talk about that as I want to get into what's coming out this year as well. But let's actually go, guys, to 6scalecantina.com, and we were talking about this the Sideshow Clone Wars figures there, later, Luke. It wasn't even planned, but those are the best shows where we talk about stuff that's not even planned.
I'm just going to say one thing, Aries. When you get that N1 Starfighter delivered and you call me up to come over to try and help you hang out from your room, my phone is going to be accidentally going to voicemail. Probably for that week or two.
Well, listen, I'm going to have
that now.
Then I may have to ask the Hot Toys wizard and say, hey, listen, can you go ahead and just for this one time? And I'm still waiting for it. Possessed Lane.
They call him the Wizard.
Or you should have the Hot Toys wizard go maybe possess and teleport through time. Hulk Hogan circa maybe 1988. He should have big enough arms to help you be able to lift and unbox and lift that thing and hang it from your roof.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. Oh, wait a minute. That's
exactly.
Hot Toys Wizard's cousin's brother. Hey, listen, everyone. If you don't have 6scalecantina.com bookmarked, you just may want to consider doing so. All the latest stuff, obviously, on Hot Toys, Star Wars Hot Toys, Marvel Hot Toys, Marvel market value chart, under construction, working hard on it. I will tell you, just working on the market stuff this morning. And I think I put this on my Facebook group. I actually spent about 6.5 hours just working on data and getting stuff updated. When I go in and I give you my piece of opinion, I try to really base it on strong data. You can see there's the banner for the show right up there on here that we're watching right now. So if you had it bookmarked, you would have seen that. Also, before we go into the next topic, if you go to 6scalecantina.com under the current banner on the show that's live right now, you do see the Grand Inquisitor on the cover. You see Reva, you see Cobb Vanth, Dark Side Anakin, the Chrome
Thanks for
Clone
the reminders
Troopers.
there, Aries. Much appreciated.
But you can see the show tomorrow. The next Cantina Insider show is going to be 11 a.m. tomorrow morning, Sunday. And look at the banner there. It's Hot Toys versus the world. So I am going to be giving you my take. We've had a lot of other shows and different things going on Hot Toys versus. I'm not going to address it on this show, but I'm going to give you my opinion tomorrow. If you want it, go ahead and become a Cantina Insider. Join the channel, or you insiders, join me tomorrow morning. Hot Toys versus the world. I'll give you my opinion on what I think of that Batman from InArt, what I think of Hot Toys Batman. Is it inferior? Is it superior? But Hot Toys versus the world coming tomorrow morning. Get ready to bring your coffee. I'm probably going to blow your mind. Again, 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Hot Toys versus the world's coming. It should be a hot one, Lane. I hope you're in there to watch it, my friend.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to say in relation to InArt and Hot Toys and all that stuff. So,
yeah, Luke, you're in it. Both of you guys insiders in there. Absolutely. So look forward to both of you coming in here. And that's what's so special about this show. And like we did the show with T.Y. Popsick, shout out to him, who was always at table 5, which we'll be pulling up here in a minute. And we had Doc Smizzle on as well before. And it's always great having these shows where we get insiders and subscribers on. So this is a lot of fun to me.
Ray's been going up again.
Ray is it's really, really strong. You see the arena suit Boba Fett.
Yeah.
So what's interesting about this figure, and we could talk about that because the Femme Fatale pointed out about they better ship. I guess I'm hearing is this what's going on, Lane? The arena suit Boba Fett, people are getting notices. It's going to ship next week.
They're getting, I believe, they're shipping notices or like final charging or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know I just got Thursday my Dark Trooper. So it looks like that one, I'm getting my final charging on Monday. So that one looks like it may be starting to ship here in the near future soon. Well,
let's look at the prices of the arena suit Boba Fett. And it's trending up like crazy, but it's not trending down. But remember, I've been telling everybody for weeks, it's hard to pinpoint this out because it first comes out, it's $850, $860, $800. What's really the price as it trends up from its retail price? And you need data, like I always say, since I've been doing this channel, to really get a good feel. I actually see this figure right now being really in the mid 600s to 700 and probably going up maybe to that range exactly with the animated Fett. But you can see right now, as that was selling immediately at 850, I could bring some of these up from a seller we all know, Tim Cent. And you can see here, while people were selling them for $800, $850, he's coming on saying, hey, buy it for me for $678, already selling 8 of them. You get like Toys for Adults going up there around the same price, around $650 and $670, that type of things, and getting rid of their stock on there. So that's more to me of the price of where it really is falling right now in the mid upper 600s, around $700. Going
Man,
to
can I say that's a lot of positive feedback? Someone needs to go buy something, and we need to get that man over. We need that man needs a 19,000 even.
He is just one away, outstanding seller from 19,000.
He's only got one Fett left, so someone go buy that Fett.
Yep.
Well, I will tell you that a lot of these sellers, and I'm not sure on this one, but he'll sell like 18 and he'll still have one left.
Oh, okay. What a marketing ploy. What a guy.
I see that a lot. But with this one, there's not a whole lot out there. But that's really where I'm seeing it right now. It's kind of neck and neck. It's right there. So laid, not so surprising, but they still have all the prices out there for $800, $900 with these guys jumping on. There's only so many, because how many did they release out there, Lane? About 300 in Hong Kong? So
what it was supposed to be.
This will probably, he gets a couple left. It's going to go up to $800, $900, $1,000, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a good possibility with that. I mean, as you've been pointing out, with Star Wars Hot Toys right now for certain figures, it's really hard to predict sometimes where you can find. They're still going to be a lot, but it's hard to predict where they're going to be. Like this guy, like you said, $678. There have been some selling for $850, $800. You pointed out like last week that Dark Side Anakin that somebody bought for like $1,600 or $1,700. You know, some of these grail, some of these, you know, I don't like using the term grail, but some of these very sought after figures, they can sometimes be. You might find a decent deal for their pricing people are paying, or you might see someone pay a lot more, and you're just like, I'm sure you've had a heck of a time sometime for certain figures figuring out where exactly is this supposed to be, you know, because they can go all over the place, but they're all much more than their original, you know, retail price for them, and they're waitlisted and what have you. I kind of agree with you. I think that this guy will be, you know, even if we're talking like a year or two from now, I think this guy will at least be like a $500 to $600, even after some of the hype for it has gone, you know, died down a little bit. I think he's still always, because it's a Boba Fett. It's a unique looking Boba Fett, just like, you know, the animated Boba Fett. You know, that's a unique looking Boba Fett that is probably going to keep its value. You know, it's never, they put out more, and they've had like 4 or 5 other pre-orders of Fetts, and that figure hasn't gone down, you know, or it hasn't been affected by this one, or at least for right now. You know, this one did not cause his value to just, you know, drop like $200 or something.
Well, has the animated Fett increased in value, Aries?
Say that again. I was looking at one other comment. Say that again, Luke.
Has the animated Fett increased in value? Because I imagine.
Yes, it's gone up a little bit, but it was Luke raising anyway. So it was around, you know, 600, high 600s, then breached it like right around low 700s. This obviously was selling 800. Tim Cent gets these in Toys for Adults. A lot of them, okay, it's out there now. Now, you know, they're saying, hey, they're selling it for $675, $78. But we all know with those sellers, as they continue to sell at that price, they sell one more. Now all of a sudden it's 705. They sell a couple more. Now it's 735, and it just keeps going up.
KG Daddy in the chat says they're still available for retail in Japan. So that's interesting. The arena suit Boba Fett's.
Oh yeah,
got any friends in Tokyo?
Japan?
Or Akibahara? Might be time to send them an email.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I got to put this up over here. Thule just became a YouTube member.
Hey, welcome.
I guess we got to go ahead and do this, Thule. Thank you so much for your support. You're amazing. And I hope you tune in tomorrow to see my show, Hot Toys versus the World. And you'll certainly get to do that here tomorrow. Thank you so much, Thule, for your support as well. Much appreciate that. And OG fan says, Thule, welcome to the Insiders. Absolutely. Much appreciate that. Go ahead, Luke.
No, I was just going to say welcome. Best group on there. It's good to have you.
So let's go ahead and take a look, Luke and Lane, where I have the arena suit Boba Fett. You know, because as I said, you know, people were, I didn't even, as you guys know, wanted to even put this on the market value chart, and I still hesitate. But even if they do correct it or put it out, it's just going to be another version. So I will put this up.
No, I think Aries, you kind of needed to for this one right now. I know
you do.
You had mentioned.
Yeah, I hesitated because it's so early.
Well, not everybody. It's even though it's quote waitlisted, it's not like we've had where, you know, everybody who pre-ordered from Sideshow or wherever has gotten theirs, and we don't know also for people who are getting it, who might be getting it or going to end up selling it on secondary market, which could, if there's an influx of those, could. Okay, we need to not when we're talking about this, people, we're not talking about, you know, in October we're going to be talking about, hey, this thing is now selling for less than the original retail price or something like that,
right? Which
can happen to some Hot Toys. Where I think Aries is meaning more, maybe it might be like $550, you know, where it stabilizes or something like that as a still high-end figure that people pay for. But
oh yeah, because they only made a certain amount. And look at this here, guys. I got it highlighted, but I don't have to because I just put them in the little search box. So remember, everybody, when you use any of the market value charts at 6scalecantina.com, you can sort it out, highest to best, by clicking the arrows in the current value column, or you could just type in the figure and it'll come up. But you can see right here, right now, obviously, with the sellers like Tim Sent and some of them coming into the fray, 669 and rising is really the data as we collect. And that's why, Lane, I always say you got to collect a lot of data before you can come up with an average. This is so new. But that's a pretty hefty price, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be
for one that hasn't even gotten to everybody from Sideshow. Even it's not like we're talking like I remember back in the day when that came out like 3 or 4 years ago, and now it sells for nearly $700.
So let's talk about this. I'm going to go, Luke, to you first. This was a cluster frack using Battlestar Galactica from Sideshow here. Because it originally, people, it originally, when it was first put on Sideshow, I noted, and I looked right at it, and it was like, hey, coming out in 2023. I was like, oh, good, this is different than what I thought it was going to be. That this is going to be something that's going to be available for a while. They're going to have the pre-order, you get to put it on there. Then that changed. Then you were allowed to put 6 in your cart for an exclusive. And they messed that up. They stopped it within 15 minutes, but damage was already done. I know this isn't Hot Toys' fault because it's Sideshow. If when Hot Toys messes up, they correct things like the Peacemaker head sculpt, the Tony Stank, so on and so forth, all that kind of good stuff. But you have to wonder, Luke, is there maybe a scenario, and this is another reason why I hesitated, where, Hot Toys always gets a little involved when their name is kind of tarnished a little bit because something got messed up, even though it wasn't their fault. Can you see a scenario where they're like, hey, let's make some more of these? Because I hate when people are spending $700 right now for this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them making more of these, but I have a theory as to why they're so high. And I think, at least from my perspective, there was a lot of people that, I think in the collecting community, there's a lot of FOMO, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I think what happened here is maybe, like you've suggested, people thought it was going to be around for quite a bit of time to be able to order. So why they may have thought that is, the armorer is still available as an example. And I know there was issues with that figure being like a single jointed figure and various things, but
screws in the feet.
as an exclusive for that still to be available a year later is unusual. So I think people were maybe sleeping on this a little bit. And then I think the fear of missing out, I think what's happened is people have bought this or wanted to buy it after it's sold. So they've been like, no, I don't need another Boba Fett. I don't know who this Boba Fett is, like whether they didn't know the comics or whatever. And then people have started to show the figure, there's some reviews that have happened. People have got really excited about it retrospectively, and then they've gone to buy on the secondary market. So yeah, I think it must have been a smaller release than previously. Maybe the reverse has happened to what you're thinking. Like maybe they produced too many of the armorers.
No, I think actually, Luke, not to cut you off, I'm going to stay with you. Yeah. But that is exactly 100%, baby, what I think happened and what I even based my whole show on. The last show that I had was on that. But you just hit it on the head. They made way too many of the armor and way too many of the figures last year, and they're whether it's Boba Fett or whoever, they're making less. They have to. It's just business sense.
But I think they've gone too far the other way. So maybe they learned from this in terms of the numbers. I mean, Boba Fett's different. Boba Fett's hard to gauge, but the armorer they obviously made too many.
Way too many.
And then Boba Fett maybe they made too few for a character like that. But yeah, I think people didn't order this. They thought, like you said, it was going to be around for a little bit of time. And
I thought it was going to be around for a little bit of time, especially the way that they put up the dates. It was a complete. So, do you see any scenario then where and going back to that, where how I kind of agree with you. I don't think that Hot Toys will jump in and make anymore, but you almost feel a little bit bad the way they did it. Like, hey, we're gonna give a little bit of a batch, but you don't see it, Luke, huh? I don't see it either, but I give it like a 10% chance.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think people would be upset if they re-released this or added more, because people have been spending $600 to $800 on this figure, and then it comes back into retail and maybe sits there for a little bit. That's a pretty frustrating feeling.
Yeah, so it's like you're right, Luke, and Lane. It's like, what's the right thing to do? Because that would piss a lot of people off, but yet they screwed up, and there's some people that missed out because of it.
Yeah.
Well, you're never going to make all of fandom head. You're always. I mean,
well, that's
you're always. I mean, that's always been true. You're always going to get yelled at a little bit. You're not going to be able. I mean, in life, you can't make everybody happy. Now, I agree. I think they may. I don't think they're going to redo any more of these, but especially
which makes me feel better putting it on here, because I almost couldn't just fathom it that it happened this way. But I agree with you.
I
Both of you.
think because it's an exclusive and everything, but I agree with you. This is because of some. I think part of the thing that helped drive it up a little bit too has been some of how it was handled when it was put out.
Oh, I agree.
I think a little bit for this particular figure, what drove it to sell out, waitlist so quickly on Sideshow, was I honestly think maybe a little bit going back to what happened with the clone trooper, where that one obviously took a little while to sell out, but it sold out, waitlist before it was released. For in 3 or 4 business days or 5, but within less than a week from when it was up completely. And I think that may have spooked some people who had looked at it but weren't sure on that figure, because we hadn't seen one of those things like in a couple of years. Waitlist, it doesn't matter what the figure was, whether it was a regular or exclusive or whatever, kind of just go out before it was released. And I think maybe that spooked some people. So I think that caused a lot of people to jump on Arena Fett really quickly. Some of that FOMO, whether they were 100% sure they wanted it or not.
Right. Right.
And I think now there may be some thought processing. They just, even if they're not sure still when it's about to come out, I think there's some thought processing now. People are just going to keep it. And even if they decide, I don't think I want to keep it in my collection, or maybe I don't have the space like I thought I was, there's a good chance they still could sell it for at least getting their money back that they originally put down, on it. That's a safe bet at this point. You'll be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, make sure you guys will hit the like button. You are watching the Market Show live here on Saturday night. It is Saturday Night Live at 6 Scale Cantina, and the Big Dog Pound with the $5 super chat. So listen, like in Ric Flair styling and profiling style, here you go, baby. Woo! And he says 6 Scale Cantina is the place to be, where we celebrate hot toys over drinks, laughs, salute. Listen, here's the spotchka. Salute to you there, Big Dog Pound. Much, much appreciate the support. And I love this hanging out, having so much fun with everybody in here. Let's go ahead and fill up the Big Dog Pound. Gosh, what table is he sitting at? I wonder, he may be sitting right here at table 1 with us.
They call him the Wizard.
So, Aries, I got a question for you.
From me?
Playing our Big Dog Pound here a little bit. Brother,
bring it on.
What are you going to do when the Hot Toys Wizard possess you and you find suddenly you have 10 pre-orders on day 1?
Listen, I don't think... Listen, I just interrupted. Didn't I interrupt the Hot Toys Wizard? That was earlier in the show. I didn't even realize I did that. So I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of out of myself.
How do you know the Hot Toys Wizard did not allow you to interrupt him? Because it's part of his bigger end game. And I think OG Fan has the appropriate comment there.
Which is where hold on, and thank you so much there, the Big Dog Pound. Where is the OG Fans comment?
647.
647. That's
My
all the
time,
way up
Central
there.
Time.
You must be talking about
8:47.
8:47.
Yeah, that's funny. That's why the times.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean this comment here for Big Dog Pound LOL? He's laughing.
No. Right after that. Two down.
2 down.
Okay, come on. You got to do it, Aries.
They call him the Wizard.
No,
You
Aries,
guys are awesome.
You did it wrong.
How did I do it wrong? He just said wizard. That's what I have up there.
Exactly. You forgot the thing. Every time he puts that up, you always go wizard. See?
Yes.
There we go.
Well,
Okay,
you just did it.
I filled in for him.
Wizard.
Yes,
wizard.
exactly.
Yes.
That is how.
That's like TK FOMO. Is there going to be a 1 release, 2 releases, 3, 4, 5? Oh my God!
Well, going at this rate, we're going to have 50 between now and like the end of the year.
Well, let's look at some of that. We're going to be going. Listen, everybody, we're at 6scalecantina.com, and we're looking at the biggest movers section. We're going to go take a look. People ask me all the time, Lane and Luke, what's going on with the Chrome Clone Trooper? I got information on that. Look at this list here. But let's actually talk about that. Listen, a lot of work here. 6scalecantina.com. Seriously, like everyone in the chat. It is one of the most fun websites in the 6-scale collecting community, especially if you love Hot Toys. And look at this little comparison we have under the biggest movers section at 6scalecantina.com. The Star Wars versus Marvel comparison. So, okay. So this is the Hot Toys 1/6 pre-order comparison. We got Star Wars 1/6/2023 pre-orders, 18. And I know why you're laughing, Lane, because I've got them listed. I'm just going to yell them out. Here's the 18 so far, 20, which is a low amount of pre-orders. We're going to get more. Axe Wolves, number 1. Number 2, KX Enforcer Droid. 3, Casca, 4, C-3PO. 5, R2-D2. 6, the Battle Droid. 7, the Clone Pilot. 8, Fennec Shand. 9, the Heavy Weapons Clone Trooper. 10, the Attack of the Clones Clone Trooper. Number 11, Commander Appo. Number 12, Luke DX25. Can't wait for that. 13, Purge Trooper. 14, Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett. Not too many people thought that was coming out. The Wizard said it was. 15, Cad Bane. 16, Obi-Wan DX27. 17, Vader DX28. 18, the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah,
and then from Marvel,
and all
38, and I can't list them all because unless
that's why I was laughing. So he's saying, AKA, I feel really, that's the universal translator, Aries, would translate to, I feel really bad for all the Marvel exclusive collectors because they're going to be really
30 freaking 8. 38.
Well, and that's not including what they're still behind for how many for this year. I mean,
well, no, we could go to that. That's right below here.
I'm
Look at that.
Psych right here.
Now,
I mean, that's no. You can't tell me all of those Marvel ones are necessarily going to come out.
Well, this was a lot better. This is what I was telling you guys backstage.
Yeah.
If you look at this here, so that's what's going on in 2023. I've been saying all along, you're probably going to get anywhere from 20 to 25 for Star Wars for 2023. So we're and probably more than that. We're going to get that wave. We'll talk about that in a minute. But look at they're not going to go into next year with how hot Star Wars is and do less than this year or the year before. It's not going to happen. But here, Star Wars 1/6/2022 unreleased Hong Kong pre-orders down to 13. And then Marvel 1/6/2022 unreleased Hong Kong pre-orders down to 15. Not too bad. But I think with all the stuff that's been going on, Luke, they got down because this was like 30 something with Marvel. God, it feels like just yesterday, but I know it was like 3-4 months ago. And then with Star Wars, it was up at, around 20 something there, but they kind of brought it down. But they're really heavy with Marvel. They haven't made any adjustments, Luke, for the third quarter. I mean, look at this. You got freaking 11. You got the Iron Man holographic, Scarlet Witch, WandaVision, Miles Morales 2020 suit, Captain America, Falcon Winter Soldier, Iron Man Mark V, War Machine, Iron Man 2, Iron Man the 60s appearance, Black Widow snowsuit, Cable, Tony Stark Mech Tech Division, Tony Stark suit up, they got to push some of these because you only got what you got: Black Widow, Black Outfit, Loki, Avengers Endgame.
Loki.
Yeah, and Infinity, Ultron, and Yelena. They've got to bring some of these, right, Luke, of these 11 into here.
Yeah, I mean, look, the number, whether it's Marvel or Star Wars or other IPs, it's too much. Like, obviously, like, you know, we've seen the impact that COVID's had on the release schedule, and now we're kind of all clustered up. But I was hopeful at the beginning of the year that they were getting some momentum on the releases of things, and things were coming, particularly with the Star Wars line. But it's slowed down, and I think the break that they have for, you know, Chinese New Year over there is a real killer mid-year for them, because it essentially, I think it's basically lost them, you know, a solid month of releases. But they really need to get on top of this, because I think what's happening perpetually, at least with myself, is, and sounds like yourself, Aries, like there's no day one pre-orders with me anymore, because the wait time is so long. So like if I'm looking at things that are releasing in December 2023 or quarter 1 24, it's just no point or no benefit to me to put even a deposit down on that figure with that long a wait time, which then perpetuates that maybe they make less figures, which then causes larger issues for releases, and then secondary prices increase. So they really need in the rest of 2022, between now and the end of the year, to absolutely smash these releases, to give 2023 a little bit of breathing space. And I think ideally, if they can get figures down under a year from release window, there'll be a really healthy business, be it their profit, be it their, you know, customer base. I think there'll be a lot more hype, a lot more excitement, because it's taking away from the enjoyment a little bit, waiting now close to what in some instances 2 years. That's a long time.
Well, look at that Loki. That thing I think is approaching almost like 3 years. Can you imagine if you had pre-ordered that like years ago? And that's Prime 1 statue make you wait. For it.
Yeah, you got the Loki Avengers Endgame. I mean, what that movie came, I mean,
that was announced like 3 years ago.
God, yeah. I mean, they're definitely going to take some of these. No, and I agree with you, Luke. I bet you part of their long-term plan is to try and get these out in a year or earlier, or within a year. But that's not going to happen. I'll be honest with you guys. Probably for several years to come. They're gonna work through this. And I've been saying all along that they were going to kind of sweep it under the rug a little bit and not talk about it. They have come out with a lot. Let me go here. Like look at the Star Wars, they were able to, wow, okay, so it's not too bad in a way from where it was.
But they've had some pushbacks here with just even for some of these. I mean, how many?
Well, you got like Ahsoka, Rosario, right lane. You got Hunter, Echo, Blurg, OG Mando, and Blurg. Quill with or without the Blurg, Bo-Katan. So when I put these in here, I don't include like the deluxe and not. You're not gonna buy the Ford Crown Victoria. You're not gonna go buy 2 cars. You're gonna buy the one. But for the most part, so we put them in as one. But honestly, I think that they clouded themselves up here with this Blurg. The Blurg, Quill with the Blurg, Blurg by itself, OG Mando with the Blurg.
That plays into a question I was actually going to ask. Well, I wanted to ask you, since you have looked at a lot of data, and obviously you been collecting longer than I actually just hit my 2-year anniversary.
Okay.
Tomorrow, from the first time I ever got my first hot toy.
Wow.
My Remnant Trooper. For the quarter 3, quarter 4 of these releases, because I mean, I know obviously Bo's already been delayed. I think Echo's been delayed. I think the Blurgs have both been delayed at this. All the Blurgs, or at least a couple of the Blurgs. I think the Mando and Blurg has been delayed. Of these ones for quarter 3 and 4, what would you say of these ones could you see maybe of like the 2 or 3 who could get delayed to 2023? I think the Blurgs are a good candidate that they. I think they're a big beastie thing.
I think they're all tied in together, to be completely honest with you, with the exception of maybe Quill by himself. And let me point this out here. I mean, there's 2 ways to think about this. Number one, is it possible that waiting for the hype of The Mandalorian season 3, like let's just be honest, The Mandalorian seems to have hype whether the show is going on or whether the show is not going on. Let's just be honest. It's crazy phenomenon with the Mandalorian, with Grogu. It just is. With Baby Yoda, it just really, really is. That being said, there will still by default and just by nature itself be more hype when season 3 comes out. And human nature would suggest, hey, I'm so excited about the Mandalorian season 3. I heard this rumor from this one. I heard that rumor. I heard this. And then all of a sudden they come out with the blurg. You know what? I think I'm going to buy a blurg. Oh, I think I'm going to buy another OG Mando on the blurg. I think I'm going to get Quill with the blurg. It seems like that it would sell a little bit more to be able to do that. That being said, the Mandalorian on the other side really is not losing steam. It continues to gauge steam, whether it's on or off. So you have to wonder. I just don't see the blurg, guys. And OG Mando with the blurg and Quill with the blurg are below, best-selling wise, the regular Jet Trooper. It's the lowest selling figures.
Is that true?
It is absolutely 1,000% true. And I'll take it a step further. The blurg never made it past top 15 when these came out.
Yeah, okay.
We're talking about that.
You see, for me, the blurg was a really exciting
it's exciting release. For me too.
But I think they. I mean, you both hinted to it just then. They split it across 3 SKUs. So you've got it on its own, you've got it with Mando, and you've got it with Quill. Like that's a crazy strategy because your sales are going to be split across those 3 items. I think releasing it just with Quill would have been a really smart strategy for Hot Toys because people like myself would have wanted Quill. They would have wanted the blurg being monsters or creatures in Star Wars. And yeah, I think they would have probably generated a little bit more hype, but spread across those 3 SKUs, that's the problem there, isn't it?
I actually 1,000% agree with you. It's a good point we don't talk about a whole lot. If they would have been more strategic with that release and just gave you the blurg with Quill, or had that been with Quill by himself, or maybe call it Quill Deluxe, if you will, right, Luke?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, if they wanted to put on the OG Mando with that, kind of keep that in their back pocket, right, Luke? And put that out later. It's like, oh, I can get this now. Totally. And the fact that they did it the way they did, I agree with you. It was poor strategy. Good one.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they just made a mistake there. Maybe they've learned from that. I like the idea you just said around it being Quill plus Quill Deluxe. I think that's a clever way to release the blurg. But yeah, but that being said, like I did buy, because I have the original Mando, so I did buy a single blurg and Quill and blurg, so I can have them set up together. So I'm sure there's people that will have done that too. But yeah,
so I'm kind of torn that I think it's going to go 50-50, but I'll tell you guys one thing, and Lane, answering your question from before, on top of that, I don't think they're making very many of any of those at all, just being honest.
I think the vehicles right now are going to have I think just the vehicles in general right now, even the DeLorean and some other things like that. I don't think those items, just because of the increase in shipping prices and things like that, their production beyond pre-orders, I think is going to be. Now, it still might take a little while to sell them necessarily. It doesn't mean they're all going to go insta out in like a week. But I think also the swoop bike. I think that, the swoop bike by itself, I think that one is probably going to have a very low production as well.
Absolutely. And putting up somebody's comments on here. Beskar Kid is in the house. What is going on, my friend? Always good to have the Beskar Kid, great supporter, in here. I got Mando and blurg, Quill and blurg, and an extra blurg for a goof. Listen, that's a lot of coffee, man.
That's amazing. That's all in.
Well, listen, you have to wonder, guys. Am I eventually going to get a Luke Hoth and Tauntaun, a Han Hoth and Tauntaun, and an extra Tauntaun for a goof? And I say yes. We can all
you're going to get a third Tauntaun, get it painted black, and then have modified crappy A New Hope Vader that you can stick on, so you can have Vader Tauntaun.
Right, all the tauntauns.
I'm gonna call you when I get my tauntauns, so you can all 4 of them, Blade, so you can help me pose them. Kind of like when I put up the N1 Starfighter.
Tauntaun Patrol, Tauntaun Patrol, roll out.
Oh my God!
But as much fun as we make as a blur, that I'm despite where I think I agree with you guys, they did kind of maybe not the best release strategy. I think the blur. I'm happy to see they tried to do the blurs. Didn't just stick like to the speeder bike or something like that. Like for Star Wars vehicles and stuff, they tried to do something a little bit different. Now, being maybe older Star Wars fans, we might have said maybe there's something else they could have tried to do. Or I know Nate from Geeking Out would be all in. He wants his Rancor. I hate to think how big that thing would be, but if they even did like a really awesome Boba Fett with like half a body power pose or something like that of the Rancor as a beastie or something to do, I might have pushed them or pointed them maybe in that kind of direction than going blurgy time like they did. But for Mando, which is part of the Mando series season 1 and 2, I'm glad to see they decided to try and do it, because they may end up being really good. So
I think they'll be good. I think it was an experiment to see. And I think the sad thing about this is if it has sold so poorly, our hopes for Tauntauns and Wampers or insert any kind of Dewback, any kind of creatures diminishes, like it gets lower. But I mean, for me, like the creatures are what makes up the Star Wars universe. Like, they're as synonymous as like the Mandalorians from an aesthetic, or the troopers. And I would love to see them make more creatures. Like, so I hope this doesn't deter them, because I think we need more of that unique Star Wars-esque in 1/6 scale, not just humanoids.
No, and I totally agree. And Lena Durrett is in the house. What is going on, Lena? How are you doing? How do you feel about the sequels? Well, I say
fulfill your destiny.
Thank God they're over.
Well,
I can't believe you had that queued up.
You know what?
I love them. But I don't like what they did. I don't got to get all into it. I'm just glad the controversy's over.
I can nail it down for you, Lena, here in just a nice, simple statement. For Aries, the night that he went to see and left the theater from after watching The Last Jedi was the Aries Tarrington Dark Jedi Night of 1,000 Tears. Because there was much staring into the soul, staring out his car window, and then sitting there dark going, what did I just watch and what happened to my boy?
I literally went home, Lane and Luke, and watched this after.
Furthermore, I wish you to wear this dress and bonnet.
This was never a condition of our arrangement.
I have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
And this deal's getting worse all the time.
Here is a unicycle. You will ride it wherever you go.
What? I'm not riding the unicycle.
I have altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
This deal is getting worse all the time.
Also, you are to wear these clown shoes and refer to yourself as Mary.
Oh, you, man.
Wow.
Aries, you probably would have had more fun if you got stuck actually riding a unicycle while wearing a dress down the Main Street than probably after watching The Last Jedi.
You see, I think the sequels, I think the art direction, the set design, I think they nailed so many elements of it. The character design. Like, I love the Praetorian Guards as like an evolution from the Royal Guards, but the writing was just, let's call it fragmented. That's a nice way to put it. It just wasn't. It wasn't what we needed to happen to Luke as a character.
And it was very fragmented in Rise of Skywalker because they just didn't have enough prep time to, like literally they were writing the script of why. Here's what happened in the scene. We're quickly writing like the night before the dialogue to explain why literally something is supposed to be happening. Which
they've never done that before, right? There was and that's the difference.
Even The Last Jedi had prep time and got its story. Whether you like the story or not, the story for I will say, even though Last Jedi is my least favorite, like I hate that movie, I can sit there and watch the story and say, whether I agree or think some of the stuff is stupid, within the story of the movie of what it's trying to tell, there's some form of cohesiveness to it, and it gets from its point A to point Z that it's trying to do. Rise of Skywalker has no points. It is just like ADDing all over the place and just trying to tell us, aha, Emperor, he was behind everything for the last 100 years, basically, going back from, I'm just waiting to hear that actually he was Darth Plagueis. There was no Darth Plagueis. I was talking about it, the reverse flash mem. It was me, Anakin. I was Darth Plagueis. I was telling you about me because I killed myself to make myself the Palpatine of now, to make myself stronger in the dark side. And I was just waiting for a dyad so that I could, force suck out Wraith or something to make myself even more powerful to become the true one Sith. Sorry.
You would have been great at that point. Listen, maybe you would be great at that part. Late, I think I have to play this because now it just.
Oh no!
They call him the Wizard.
Now that being said, without the Last Jedi, I would not have had the Praetorian Guards, which are, I don't know if Luke, you have any of the figures, which is one of the few figures. Sure. Now, okay, you can back those up and send me those out on Monday. I will take those. I had one, but I ended up selling it because I just couldn't get my hands on the other one.
Yeah. And I think The Force Awakens was a good movie. I think at least for me, I think that it wasn't perfect by any means, but there was still excitement after that movie was released and introducing new characters and. Yeah,
it was phenomenal, man. It had a lot of explosions. I mean, it was.
Well, it had Finn. Finn is, I don't know Aries everything like that.
I'm looking at my Finn right there.
Yeah,
my Finn.
I don't want to get us too off here on the sequel trilogy because we got so many other figure stuff to talk about. But I feel like Finn, as a Star Wars character, is one of the biggest. I mean, even back to George Lucas' original trilogy, any of the Star Wars movies, we can find some character like Boba Fett. Boba Fett could have been a bigger, more expanded character, maybe in the movies, not a just background character that Lucas may not have really cared about that much. He could have been expanded on in Return of the Jedi. But Finn to me is one of the top 3 characters that was such a missed opportunity. He could have been, and Rey could have still been Rey, but he could have become a Jedi beside her or something like that. What I would have liked to have seen is if they were going to introduce Force strength to him is, we saw how it feels like it was set up that they could add it. The Force Awakens had him get, basically almost murdered by Kylo Ren. Imagine if we got to see him where he's still unsure of himself, but he had spent a year training with Rey, with Leia, where we got to see him. He still might have lost, but we got to see him fight against, Kylo Ren again in one of the lightsaber duels, and he at least was finally able to fight Kylo Ren to a standstill and get to really just show and see his evolution of character. That would have been a character beat that would have made sense.
But listen.
Yeah, sorry.
Here's the honest truth. What they did with Luke in The Last Jedi was garbage.
What about that ship?
That was garbage.
It was absolute junk.
What a piece of junk.
It was just junk.
Blow that piece of junk out of the sky.
It just wasn't good.
I know
it wasn't good.
But I know that's what's going to make when you have it in your hands, Eric.
The movie was
I know
good.
This is why you're going to do another Better Than Me unboxing video. Or for a live one for your Cantina members or something.
Well,
and when you and this is going to take it back to our talking about upcoming releases, is when that Mando Luke shows up.
Oh,
that fit. We were talking about maybe delayed figures or something. that Mando Luke needs to. The Crow Mando and the Mando Luke need to come out this year relatively on time. Those are like the big ones for our Star Wars Hot Toys. They need to come out this year.
Add that Boba Fett of the throne too.
Because that one too. I'm getting all three. I'm getting all three of them, but
no.
I think for personal meaning, like I'm speaking for you, when you have that Mando Luke, this is a request I am giving to everybody in chat and stuff real quick, personally to Aries as a Cantina member.
Okay.
I would really, really like to see when you are going to finally open that figure up, take it out of the box for the first time, that we get to be their experience. Because I think
I don't know if I could do it live. I might be too emotional. To be quite, I'm being honest.
I'll tell you what, Aries. If I will make this pledge right now, when I get mine, when I get my Mando Luke Deluxe, if you guys want, and you guys, obviously we're obviously way off, and we have to see if schedule. I would be willing to come on with you so we can see which one truly is the worst unboxer. It will be the competition that will light up the YouTube algorithm. I will be willing to come unbox with you at the same time, so you're not doing it by yourself. Mando Luke, so we both can do it, because I know you've done that, like you did it with Fabio the other day. I'm willing to bring it. We will both unbox, because I don't think I'm going to have quite the same emotion. Like, that was a big moment for me, but I'm not probably going to have our same. But I
think that'd be a ton of fun, baby.
Yeah. Anyway, so getting back to kind of what we were talking about, because I know we're a little bit behind here and stuff. But I thought I want to see you do that, because I think, as you've mentioned, and I'm just speaking to someone like watching your streams mentioned, that scene, and that for obviously a ton of Star Wars fans, when we saw Luke Skywalker go at those, that's why the Dark Trooper is kind of an important figure for me, because it is that without that Dark Trooper being as badass and everything and looking how it did and what it did beforehand would not have helped show the threat that Luke just, when it cut through them like a knife through butter, and seeing him just that soul, just how powerful. And he's not the Luke from Return of the Jedi, who was uncertain. Like, he became confident who he was, but he wasn't the Jedi Master Luke who, if he confronted the Emperor the way he was there, and, even, as the comics have established, Emperor might have been a little bit worried about that Luke.
Yeah.
Confronting him, kind of thing.
Well, that Luke, yeah, no. I'd love to do. We definitely got to do that, Lane, where we got to see who is the worst unboxer. But I guarantee you, it is 1,000%. Well, let me say it this way: is it me? And I say yes.
I don't know. I saw your Chirrut unboxing. That went a lot better than like Mike Grievous unboxing.
It just all falls all over the place. But listen, we got more market stuff to look at. Yeah. We are going to talk about the chrome plated clone trooper with the two helmets. How's that going? Some other stuff. But I want to spill my coffee because I really haven't really dived into it. And we do have to talk about this, guys. This Grand Inquisitor. And I know that so many of you guys as insiders, subscribers, all the subscribers want, my opinion on this Grand Inquisitor. But you talk about unboxing. I absolutely can't wait to unbox the Grand Inquisitor. And it looks really, really, really good. And I was surprised, Luke. Let me go to you first. I just got my Grand Moff Tarkin, not my Grand Moff Tarkin, excuse me, my Moff Gideon, my Giancarlo Esposito figure, and I unboxed it live last week because I just couldn't wait, and it was pretty epic. But it doesn't have the light up function. This has some light up functions. I was pretty pleasantly surprised in the chest plate as well. But this figure, what is your impression on this figure, Luke?
Yeah, this is an absolute home run. Like, I think they absolutely nailed the sculpt. I think I think the character is an interesting character. I mean, I love the Rebel show, so the Grand Inquisitor to me holds a a big place in my heart outside of the Obi-Wan show. And, aesthetically, I was a little disappointed when I originally saw how they interpreted the Grand Inquisitor versus, let's say, the same race in, I think it was Revenge of the Sith, how they, with the, the cranial element in their head, how it was a little bit more profound. But I think this figure is superb, and I really hope they release Reva. I know there was a lot of hate towards that particular character, but I really liked the show. I would love, a whole set of the Inquisitors. Like, I think it's just such a really interesting part of Star Wars history. I'm really into the Darth Vader comics, learning around, the rise of the Grand Inquisitors, that power struggle between Vader, the Grand Inquisitors, the Emperor at the beginning. There's some really beautiful stories and narratives there. So it's a massive thumbs up.
Yeah, I and I'm gonna get to a lot of the chat in there about this figure. Give me your opinions about this figure in there. Give me your you love it, you hate it, you're buying it, you're not buying it, buy, pass, questions. This is really the first time, Luke and Lane, that I'm really you guys know I like to save it for the reaction, like you're talking about, Lane, with the unboxing. But I agree with Luke. I mean, I love the way they're using this backdrop from the when he went to the city there. Gosh, it looks really good.
I hope it's USB light ups and.
It is. I did look at that. It is USB because I saw the Sideshow price at $260. We're going to skip that for a minute.
It'll be really interesting to see how much better the lightsabers are with that new technology that they've brought in. Because if they're brighter, even if they're 40% brighter, it's a game changer, I think, for how we display all our figures.
Well, I can't stand the batteries. I can't, but I'll use the USB.
Those batteries were the bane of Iron Man collectors. Sometimes, I don't know, Aries, if you heard some people spending times a couple hours trying to put them in.
Yeah, no, I couldn't.
There's a really great company called Fusion Reactors. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him, but he makes like battery packs for it, and I think that's the only way to really do Iron Man, particularly the Hulk Buster. I can't imagine putting individual batteries into that thing.
LED light up chest armor and luminous reflective effect on belt, which is amazing to me. I'm interested about what the luminous reflective effect is, but that's going to be interesting. Probably just some like what glow in the dark type of stuff there. You think? But the LED light up chest armor is that's fantastic.
Yeah. It looks really nice. I think they did like with the armor pieces and stuff like that and everything. Like, obviously, I think upper chest, he's probably going to be like, kind of like, say, like Taskmaster here. He's going to be probably a little limited in the chest area for, being able to move him and stuff for posing. Mm-hmm. But it looks like with the arms and the legs, they've got, they're not using, at least, it looks like they're not using pleather or something. So even unlike, Gideon, which has some restriction on, his movement and the legs and everything because of the material, he looks like you're going to be able to do some pretty decent poses with them. I really like the sculpt. I will say I'm probably about 50-60% if I would get him, because there is the only thing with him, the one kind of thing in the room is he did nothing pretty much the entire series, even though he literally has one of my favorite moments in all of Obi-Wan. Yeah. When he pulled up, off Reva and took back his Grand Inquisitor little amulet there. Mm-hmm. But I think this, for a price point of I mean, I'm not saying it's cheap, but for a price point for $260, which I guess is about the same price like Morbid.
It's amazing price, $260. I mean, it should be something we definitely got to talk about that.
Yeah, I think it's a solid figure.
I mean, you're getting light up function, you're getting a head sculpt, you're getting. I mean, we're going to get into it, but yes,
it's one of those ones I wouldn't say necessarily you absolutely have to get. if you're like, this is
you don't have to get any of these. Right?
Yeah,
that's a great point.
I think if you're like from Obi-Wan, if you're buying something from Obi-Wan, I think Vader and Obi-Wan are like the ones. If you're going to buy any from the line, those are the two you absolutely should get if you want to get anything from Obi, because those two go together perfectly. Grand Inquisitor, the Purge Trooper, I think Reva, those ones. If you're into the line, I would probably say then her, like, if you're going to expand more in the line, I would probably say she's probably going to be, I would probably say her because of her placement in the story after that. But then I would say Grand Inquisitor. But he, for $260 price, he's a great figure. It looks like the extra part
superb. Really superb.
There's one weird thing with him, though. Aries, I don't know if you'd be able to go over to the picture, which has all the stuff that comes with them.
Yeah, let's go to the weird thing. I'm going to pause real quick so I don't lose as well. The chat's coming in. Putting this in here from the insane one saying Raylo Binks. I don't think so. If the end you are winning, if you like all three, in my opinion, I think we're talking about the sequels. And Lena says, by the way, I'm also glad to see a young Luke in The Mandalorian. Yeah, I do like the sequels. All three of them, they're outstanding movies. I just don't like where they messed up is with Luke. But the good thing is they're retconning that. They already did it with The Mandalorian season 2. So that's great. But
so he wasn't always a sad hermit.
Gosh. Anyway, no, this figure is and I wanted to put up a comment before we go to that lane. Someone put up a comment. I can't find it no more. Will the shoulder blades, the shoulder armor, deter articulation? From this picture, I don't necessarily believe
what they
so,
could
guys.
be like? I'm hoping maybe
like flappy a little bit.
No, well, you see, like here, because this guy's got armor kind of like that on certain points and stuff on his body, the Taskmaster. But like you see, it's got the armor here on the shoulder, which does restrict movement a little bit. But maybe they're going to actually be like Velcro. See how he has Velcro there on the shoulder that you can then put it back and attach it. Maybe the Grand Inquisitor could have. I would say they should put Velcro on there or something if they can. So that you can take it off, move it, and then put it back on.
I mean, this figure looks wow. And I am interested, Luke, to see with this USB light up function. Do you suspect it's going to be brighter, dimmer, no change at all, just a change in power in the light up function with these figures?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think they really need to address the lightsaber light up features because they're really bad. Like even if you use the fusion reactor kit, so you're not having to struggle with batteries, the effect is usually when you have your display lights on them, as everybody in this chat probably knows, they're not bright enough to really have an impact. So I know myself or others, like I've got the some of CCFL.
You broke up there a little bit, Luke. Unless it's me breaking up. Lane, can you hear Luke?
No, unfortunately, it was him when he was starting to speak that it went out.
Yeah, Luke, you kind of broke up there a little bit. You may need to rehook up. But just chime in when you're there. But look at this head sculpt, Lane. This head sculpt is so on
They nailed it.
They absolutely nailed it. I love the armor they nailed. I mean, Hot Toys just wow.
It's one thing having seen like this and some of the Inquisitor armors from Obi-Wan. One thing that got me wondering a little bit, with Moff, since we've like had little Moff Gideon and stuff. One thing I'm wondering is like how his armor, it always, we looked at it like it was, it was kind of weird. He seemed to like have Vader Jr. armor or something. Well, I mean, it made me wonder maybe if his.
Now you're getting me hungry for a Whopper Jr., baby.
Well, hey, Burger King just opened within about 3 miles of where I'm located. Maybe that's where I'll go for dinner after this.
I haven't had fast food since March 31st, by the way.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Yes, I have not.
Good.
I have not.
I had some for lunch today. But it makes me wonder kind of like his chest armor piece here and stuff. What if this was actually canonically, maybe it was like a like Inquisitor armor, like it was in development or something like that.
Right.
During the time of the Empire, and eventually by then maybe the Inquisitors were all dead or they had stopped the program. So like this maybe Moff Gideon's armor was actually like originally designed for like the Inquisitors or something like that. But this is the one thing that I find a little bit weird with this figure is you notice one of the things it comes with is the hologram of Vader. And it's kind of weird to me that the holograms have often been something they've had as part of the special edition version of stuff like Vader, you know, DX from from Obi-Wan comes with the Inquisitor. It came with the Inquisitor hologram, but yet the Inquisitor just gets, and that they didn't keep that behind maybe like a special edition version or something like that.
Beskar Kid says, fun fact, Star Wars sequel trilogy holds the world record of highest grossing trilogy ever, $4.4 billion. That is absolutely
that's a lot
epic,
of moolah, man.
And a lot of money for sure. All right, so look, Luke, are you back? Can you hear us now?
I'm back.
There you
Sorry,
go.
everyone.
And there. So look at this. I want to talk to you about this, Luke. This Grand Inquisitor head sculpt is phenomenal. You get the obviously, it's a figure that comes with a head sculpt. You get this hologram piece. You get the light up chest area. You get the light up USB powered lightsaber. You also get the lightsaber effect, which you get with all of them with the, like it's in motion. 3 pairs of hand for $260. I think that's pretty darn good with the light up function. I mean, they're really not, because if you remember, I mean, especially with this arbor and stuff, I just think it's a good price.
Yeah, I think it's an excellent price. And just looking at this photo, I just noticed for the first time the hilt actually sits on his back like it does in the show, which is pretty cool. I wonder if that's magnetic.
Yes, I just noticed that too.
Yeah, but no, I really rate this figure. I think anything that, I mean, I said it before, anything that's a creature or a different kind of race in the Star Wars universe is always a win for me, just to get, that element that makes up Star Wars. And, I do hope that the lightsaber, like I said before I cut out, is better with the USB. It just needs to be a little bit better. And then, I spent a bit of money on the CCFL. I think that's what you call them. Basically the, the handmade lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But there, you need battery pack, or you need like power inverter packs and lots of different things with those. So I'm holding out a lot of hope for the USB. I think it'll be great.
There was a question in here before that was very, very long, and which is fine, but I couldn't put it on without blocking Lane's presence, which we don't want to do that.
Well, we can't stop the money face shot here.
Or Luke's, we're just going to block. It's okay if we block mine. And I'm going to see if I could find it again. But I'm going to put it up real quick and then put it down. I'm going to talk about it. Hey, Aries, Rogue One is re-releasing in the theaters on the 26th with an exclusive look at Andor, select theaters only. I was told earlier in the chat, do you think Hot Toys could reissue any of the Rogue One figures while we're going ahead and talking about and taking a look at this?
We need bays. We don't need reissues. We need them to finish. We need them to finish the line.
Oh.
It's tragic.
Well, it is tragic. And again, not to digress, but you have to wonder if it's all still the same. I think the reason, Luke, we did not get bays, along with some other figures, is partly
fulfill your destiny.
We couldn't even get people to go to a Solo movie because of the whole Luke thing and everything that happened.
Yeah, there. And you're right. And Solo was superb. That movie was
superb.
Great movie. So yeah, it really just the momentum of Star Wars. That was a dark period. But they've got to release bays. Like, I think it's a perfect opportunity. I think it's a great comment from the chat. They already have the sculpt.
I really believe that a lot of the figures from the crypt, as you know, we've been calling them here for some months. You know, that C-3PO we got from the Attack of the Clones was already teased a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we just didn't. A lot of these figures that are coming out, gosh, and I think what Holt did was, if you guys remembered, and I know I've talked about it before and spoke about it before, but gosh, Hasbro cut down, all these companies cut down on everything after that, and they just weren't making anything. And then all of a sudden, the Mandalorian comes along, things start happening, starts getting back on pace. You also had this thing called COVID, and I think it was just one of those perfect storms that just cut everything in. And now you're starting to see these figures that they've had in development and they've had R&D work on start to come out. So I actually think that Malbus, going to that question, is something that's going to happen. But you do have to wonder about some of the reissues there. I don't think that they made very many of those figures volume-wise. Like if you talk about the Chirrut Imwees or the Director Credits. That Vader from Rogue One is absolutely going insane.
Great figure.
But it's going. It is a great figure. Let me just show you guys some stuff real quick there, Late. With this, putting this up on the screen, we talk about Rogue One reissues. So this is another figure that's on the biggest movers section, just back from August 18, $450. With 10 bids. Wow. Outstanding seller, over 1,700 feedback, all 100% positive, not including the 20 in shipping. It goes over $500 when you include the taxes on this figure. And I'll give you another one that's coming up, not to bore you all with data, but $455 with 21 bids. $18. I mean, and this figure continuously. And so people ask me all the time, guys, has that figure with the Hayden Christensen head sculpt from the Obi-Wan series, that's #1, is it going to stop all these? Oh, no. It's making them go crazy. This one go crazy anyway.
Well, because they're still like a year. They might be. I mean, not till we've been talking about stuff backed up. It could be right now. The 6-month window is supposed to be, isn't it? I think like end of 2023 to like March of 2024. That's if it comes out on time in window. That time, right?
Yeah.
So it could get pushed back and not be till like April to June of 2024. You know what? People want a Darth Vader to put onto their shelf for a while, and this is commonly considered maybe the best of the current available Hot Toys ones. So people are going to go, well, okay, I've got that Anakin one on pre-order. I'd like Darth Vader to sit on my shelf the next 2 years instead, till that one comes out.
Yeah, the posability of the Rogue One Vader is far superior to like the 40th anniversary, the Empire Strikes Back reissue. So I can see why this is going to continue to keep trending up. And it's probably considered a little bit closer to the Obi-Wan show Vader anyway, just because of the timeline. But yeah, I think this is a great figure. I'm actually surprised it's not gone up even more than that since the Obi-Wan show.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy when you go, and some people are saying data, give us more data there, and I appreciate that insane one. But when you go, you could see that on the biggest mover section. Now, the thing about the biggest mover section on 6scalecantina.com, it gives you a snapshot of the market value chart. For instance, obviously there's hundreds, in the market value chart, but you get a snapshot within a week or two span of what is trending up the most and what is trending down the most. Not everything trending up, not everything trending down, but Rogue One is a big mover for Darth Vader right now.
And Solo going up too.
Oh, Solo is
I'm surprised
insane.
It's not the A New Hope one.
Oh, well, that one is going up as well. But the Han Stormtrooper is even. It's just as sought after, maybe more. Like, here you go. August 14th, sold for $850. When these are new, it is gone. Goodbye. I mean, just look at that.
Did Han just tell Boba Fett to eat it?
Well, I mean, this figure is, I mean, it's outstanding. It really, really is. I think I'm going to go up and go grab it now out of the back because I have it here. But this figure is outstanding. But yeah, no, I mean.
But all of the hands are going to keep, like, as soon as one's higher, then people will start buying the lower value hand, and then that'll creep up, and then they'll all go back and forwards until we get a new sculpt. I think the only real accessible way to get a hand in your collection now is the Sideshow Carbonite hand, which I actually think is a great figure. I think that's one that Sideshow really.
I need to go. I saw a Han Solo from New Hope. It's got some flaking on the boots for like $400 and something. I may need to go buy it.
Yeah, I think they're just going to keep going, and I don't know if we'll ever get a new Harrison Ford sculpt while he's alive, at least.
And Fabio's in the house, and he says, "Hey, the wizard is finally here," and you have to wonder: is this what they call the man with 10,001 6 skill?
They call him the Wizard.
But listen, good to have Fabio in here again. Plug for our show coming up on Friday night. But no,
Monday night?
Yes. But
I'm gonna say
this is brand new. Brand new. They go higher lane, but yeah. Are you surprised by this lane? Looks like you are.
Well, I know Hansel. $850? Yes, I thought it was maybe $500-$600 range last time I had seen it, but this Hansel.
It is in that range, but it'll sell. I mean, we're going to look at it within the market value chart. But
the Han Solo and Luke Skywalker for the stormtrooper disguises have always been kind of a weird figure to me, since they're basically a stormtrooper figure just with the head sculpt. Like a New Hope head sculpt of Luke or Han. So, but that head sculpt, for the classic original trilogy characters always makes a big difference. But if I was going to get one of the older ones, I would try and get the original. New Hope, and that would be my preference one.
Yeah.
But this is a cool figure, guys. Don't get me wrong with the. I think this is one of the obviously the more iconic scenes with them and stuff. Luke and Han doing the worst rescue plan this side of the eastern side of the Death Star.
Yeah.
But it's a cool figure. I was just looking at this though, that this is making me think back to, if anybody remembers the old Death Star gunner. Not the one that was put out with like the face shield, but the one of the.
Yeah, I remember that. There wasn't. It was again. It's in the crypt.
Yeah. Well, Ares. I was just mentioning the Death Star gunner. Not the face mask one, but the other one that we would see kind of the troops and stuff. Oh, there he is. See, that's the money maker. That's the money maker right there. Way he's not just a stormtrooper price.
No, and I got him actually. And a shout out to my friend Ray, who owns Hawk Wars Toys, now Hawk Wars Collectibles, Hawk Wars Toys. And you always get nervous when you buy these type of figures. And this was absolutely sensational. But, I mean, this is a grail here for sure. And then you get the Stormtrooper helmet, which I usually have in his hand, how I pose it here. But the awesome thing about this helmet, and you also get it the same way when you get the Luke Stormtrooper, but look at the interior of that. I mean, if I could kind of put it in the light somehow, but it's all decked out. Isn't that cool? And it's hard to see.
Yeah,
but,
it's awesome.
Yeah, I love this freaking figure. But yeah, I just had to pull it out because it's what we're talking about, baby. But absolutely insane. One of my favorite in my displays for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what do you both think? Do you think we'll get another Han Solo? Do you think I'm being a bit pessimistic, not thinking we'll get one before he passes away, or
maybe Return of the Jedi?
No, I 1000% believe. Look, and you guys were talking about figures that were, coming from the crypt. So I got to play this for everybody at Table of Living. That's Fabio's favorite clip, by the way.
So, Aries, let me ask you a question. Like, could you see this scenario? I'm speaking, Brady. No, I'm talking about the Death Star gunner, not the one with the face shield, but the one of the Death Star gunner with the guy. Like we saw a lot of them with the helmets with showing their face. They had that figure in I think 2016, 2017. Could you see a scenario where we're talking about for coming back from the dead, kind of in some form or fashion? Could you see maybe that guy obviously hopefully improved and stuff like that? Obviously, since it was 5 or 6 years ago, we could see that look of that particular type of character, maybe as part of the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary, since we did see those guys actually in Return of the Jedi. So maybe that's a figure that could rise up as part of that.
Well, I mean, you're 1000% going to get this figure because the reason no one was going to buy this. If you weren't going to go see a Solo movie about Han Solo and taking over the direction from Ron Howard, who's a fabulous director, you sure as hell were not going to buy this. And you weren't even buying an Emperor. You weren't even buying an Emperor on table 66. I mean, you just weren't. You weren't buying this guy.
Everything that has transpired has done so according to my design.
And they weren't buying this guy.
You underestimate my power.
We sure as hell don't underestimate your power now, Dark Side Anakin. But no, they sure as hell weren't going to put this out. And that's my point. Look, with the Han Solo, and I will tell you this right now, and I know a little bit something because I worked in production and manufacturing for many, many years. Put it to you that way. You cannot have a license from someone like Star Wars and tease the Bespin Han and not have approval already that the darn thing is coming out. They don't, and sometimes we look at this like it's we are playing with our figures and we could just put it in there and they're fine with it. If you insinuate, if you suggest in any damn way you have already got the approval to go ahead and do it, but they weren't going to put this out, which you're talking about here, Mr. Lane, and you sure as hell weren't going to put this out as well, which they teased in there, not only from that view, but from this view as well, which is.
Can we get the Hot Toys Wizard to possess Harrison Ford to go call up Disney and say, "Hey, where's my? I need my Bespin Hot Toy hand put out, please."
Here's the thing with this figure, with the Bespin Han, and they've done it before with this Leia 3 times, by the way. This, and they're going to get upgrades on these, especially for the 50th anniversary. But for right now, it was kind of like when they came out with that RoboCop again to kind of use
like you were talking about 2.0s and stuff.
Yeah, they can. This head sculpt is awesome. The one on the New Hope is awesome. Fresh paint. Little bit of tweaks there with the paint, different hair, bada boom, bada bing. You know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, and I absolutely think that that's what is going to happen with your Bespin Han. I actually think they have the head sculpt already. I actually think we're looking at it. They just didn't turn it around. They wouldn't do this if it wasn't done, in my view. But go ahead, go.
Oh no, I would. I mean, Han Solo was never of the big three. Was like number 3 out of 3 for me. But even with me getting the Luke, the Mando Luke, I would like a Han and Leia to be able to put with them. Han would be a little bit easier, obviously, because his outfit didn't radically change a lot, between the different movies. But I think a Bespin Han would be really cool. It doesn't have to be a figure. I think, comes with some decent stuff. It doesn't have to be super expensive. They don't have to put a ton of stuff with it to make people want to buy it, You know, he's got some stuff with him. Maybe a cool little like diorama back. He's got his blaster, and people will be happy, man. You know, and we'll buy it.
Yeah, and I actually think it's the same head sculpt, and who knows if the hair it does. And someone asked the question here: does it look like his head matches the one you're holding? It does. It's hard to see if that smirk is there or not, or what the differences would be. You could take a look at the, for instance, MB Dyson, the Jedi Knight Luke Return of the Jedi original release with the fat suit, and compare it to the Luke Andor release deluxe, which is another figure that is going absolutely insane. And subtle differences, the mouth's a little bit open. Some people like it closed. I like them both because I like that scene in the Return of the Jedi where it was like, if you won't turn to the dark side, perhaps she will. And he goes, no! So he has the mouth open there. And so I like it for that intent of it, in doing it. But little tweaks like this, that's what I think they're going to do, Luke, with Han Solo if they put him out. I don't think they're going to go through the trouble of redoing the head sculpt with him. I think that they're both done, but they could go ahead and repaint it like they do with the Leias.
Yeah. I really hope you're right. I really do hope they re-release him because it's a long time ago that they were released. Like even if you started collecting in the last 3 or 4 years, like you may not have picked that figure up. So yeah, it's we'll see. I am hopeful, but not 100% sure.
Yeah, no, and none of us could be, but they're doing a great job, Hot Toys, in getting us to think, hey, or suggesting that they are going to be putting these things out, as we had up with that Inquisitor. And I'll put this back up again, which is amazing at the $260 price range. But let's get to that picture with Reva. They've been pretty pointed lately, Luke, staying with you. Very deliberate in what they've been doing to suggest what is going to be forthcoming. There is the third sister.
Yeah, I agree. And they, I mean, when the photo of Vader came out with the Grand Inquisitor, there was a lot of talk of them not actually releasing it, and to follow through with releasing that. I think you're right. I think this means we're probably close to guaranteeing getting a Reva, which I think would be really cool. I don't think we'll get the other Inquisitors, but I would love just a pure Inquisitor shelf with Vader. I think that would be a very special thing, but I think that's pushing my luck.
I know. No, go ahead, Blaine.
I was going to say, and then you could have them all together, like behind Vader, as they're like trying to slap each other on backside the head, or give each other a wedgie or something like that.
Oh, wedgie, yeah, sure.
Yeah, trying to get one up and embarrass the other one.
Yeah, and I know I was talking about this with Fabio on one of our shows when the Vader first came out, and he pointed out, first, hey, look at that lightsaber, holding a lightsaber of Reva. And I said, I both in agreement. That lightsaber alone, that Vader had both lightsabers, I really thought, we were thinking that they were going to do this. They're so pointed now. If you guys remember, they put out that little picture of the Bad Batch not too long ago and said, want to let you know all of them are coming out. And they did that with the Attack of the Clones, the second wave. Like, hey, another wave is coming. We don't want the conversation that they won't do it again. It's like, what's going on? And then they did this as well. So this warrants something to come up. Because if they're not making mistakes, if they're not making errors, if they're not being careless, Luke, and I think that this head sculpt's done too.
The Mace Windu?
Yeah, it looks done. The whole figure looks done.
He's got to come. I mean, it's Samuel L. Jackson. Everyone, well, most people love some elements of the prequels, I think. And yeah, Mace Windu is such a awesome and important character, across the whole saga with Anakin and Yoda and Palpatine, and yeah, he's got to come. Plus, we need a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ares just wants his purple lightsaber.
No, I really think he's going to come. I mean,
This is an emergency interruption from Aries Tarlington, the Dark Jedi himself, the most interesting man in the galaxy. And you have to wonder, is it possible that I have even more information than even the Hot Toys wizard? Is it possible that I am more interesting of a man than the Hot Toys wizard? And I say, stay thirsty, my friends.
I had to play it again for the for those that didn't see it in the beginning, Lane, just for you.
I think Dos Equis needs to give you a call. They got their new most interesting man. If they're still around, I'm not sure if they are or not.
Oh, they're around, baby.
Yeah,
they're
now,
around. But listen, that
this
wasn't even
figure-
the Hot Toys wizard, or maybe it was the Hot Toys wizard, but that was Aries Tarlington. But I'm kind of outside myself, the wizard here. But listen, this is 1,000% coming. I believe the Bespin Han is 1,000% coming.
Yeah.
And the Baze Malbus Luke is 1,000% coming.
Stop it. Stop teasing me. I hope it is.
Come on.
I all I'm gonna say is that on Hot Toys Hotline that I'm on every week, we are tormenting Wizard.
Well, listen, Lane, Dorikus Maximus says I don't always drink spotchka, but when I do,
About 10 minutes later, you have to go to the bathroom.
He drinks it at 6-scale Cantina.
Cantina.
Fab's Fingers putting it in here.
Pressure is.
Let's get the likes up to 200.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do it, guys.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Fab's Fingers say, let's go. Thank you so much there. My man Fabio in the house.
Yeah, Aries does look very good in that clip there, man. Sunglasses just bring out the neck. The Aries Dark Jedi cool effect just kicks in there. And that's like the icing on top of the cake. However, I agree that I could probably, despite all my jokes, that Mace Windu will probably come. However, right now on Hot Toys Hotline that I do on a weekly basis, I and another longtime collector who are on that show, he is of the mindset we will not see Mace Windu till 2025. We will see him part of the 20th anniversary as part of Revenge of the Sith. That's when he thinks we will see that figure. And we pretty much every stream every week absolutely torment the hell out of him. Because I am about ready to make a banner that's, like a political banner that says Mace Pancake Windu come in 2025.
Well, listen, this brings us up. Listen, everybody go ahead and smash that like button. Let's get these likes way up over here. You just saw the interruption from the Hot Toys Wizard, which happened in the beginning after the Hot Toys Wizards. Brothers, uncles, sisters, girlfriends, brothers, boyfriends, girlfriend boyfriend came up. I can't even keep track anymore. In the beginning of the show. But listen, San Diego Comic-Con, not San Diego, New York Comic-Con, we got to start talking about that, Luke. We got to start talking about that, Lane, because it's already August 20th. That happens the very first week, early in the week, in October. We talk about Mace Windu. We talk about the next wave of thrills. We talk about Bespin Han. We talk about Baze Malbus. We talk about Cobb Vanth, right? We talk about Black Chrysanthemum. We talk about Dark Side Anakin. We talk about other figures from the Obi-Wan series, and they have to still fill up more pre-orders for 2023. And I think that there may be some that happen. But look, you have to wonder. I'm going to bring up what came out last year at New York Comic-Con, and let's see if I could go ahead and get a good picture up in here. That was one of the items that was revealed, which was pretty much of a bombshell, right, Luke? So you have to wonder, Luke, is it possible that this year we get some type of epic moment like this again? What say you?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I think I think Mace at New York Comic Con would be great. Someone just put in the chat, Tully, Mace Fisto and Plo Koon would look amazing together. They would. That would be incredible. But yeah, Mace, definitely New York Comic Con, very hopeful for that. Yeah. And like you say, like releasing Boba and Fennec at that show is an indication that we're going to get something. And yeah, we need more 20th anniversary Attack of the Clones. So,
well, yeah. Luke, what was that comment? He was saying he needs Mace and who together?
He needs Mace, Fisto, and Plo Koon.
In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you're under arrest, Chancellor.
So he needs some of those guys.
So some of those guys.
The
all the Jedi.
I see. Yeah, they're the Mace-led Palpatine hit squad that got hit instead.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Mace. I mean, when are we going to get that next wave of thrills, Lane? Because it's going to be coming. They have 18 pre-orders. We looked at it at 6scalecantina.com. Honestly, we did. But you know they're going to have somewhere about 25-ish around. We'll give or take a little bit, whichever way you want to go. So it's coming. But this was a pretty big release back in 2021. Obviously, they teased Fennec. Fennec came out, what? Gosh, a month later or a month and a half? It was very, very close.
February.
It was like, no, it was earlier than that, wasn't it?
I thought her...
Was it? Okay.
No, you know what? Maybe no. I think
that was Casca in February. This one was early.
Yeah, that was Casca and Axe Woe. She was like a month
before the show, before Book of Boba Fett aired the last week of December. So you have to wonder, Lane, what's going to be in store. Let me ask you this. Is it going to be Attack of the Clones for San Diego Comic-Con? Because we didn't get it at the summer showcase. What do you think? New York Comic-Con is what I mean, yes.
Maybe. I'm not sure we're going to have an exclusive necessarily for that, since we already had, the 2 already, and we're past the summer showcase and stuff.
Look, they showed these too. They showed at New York Comic-Con. They showed
some people are starting to get a little bit worried with that because they haven't had the last couple times they've showed her the facial sculpt. Like there could be some rights issues or something like that.
Yeah, well, they already have it up on the site. I wouldn't be worried. They would have took her down.
I actually think wonder if we could see for pre-order by then, or roughly right around then. Could that maybe be some more of the Bad Batch?
Well, if that doesn't get delayed again, but yes, I think with the Bad Batch, they're just going to release that with the club. They don't need San Diego Comic-Con for the Andor series, though. Is what I think.
Well, I'm just meaning because it's going to be running. Because I mean, it's
Rogue One though.
Yeah,
Rogue One.
Maybe Baze they could have, or you know what I'm actually wondering.
How about a Saw Gerrera?
Ooh,
that would actually be kind of cool.
Because Forrest Whitaker's in it, guys. He's in. Yeah. He's in the Andor series.
So, well, you know what I'm thinking when you guys were talking about bait, like we were talking about what could possibly be some scenarios we could see some of this. What about maybe we might see where he doesn't meet directly Andor, because obviously it was in Rogue One the first time he met him. But what if Baze was to have a cameo or something like that in one of the episodes of Andor? Which obviously
that would mean Chirrut would be, right? Do you think Chirrut would have a cameo with him?
Maybe, or it might just be him.
Because they were two peas in a pod, weren't they? Like always together.
Well, this could have been, before they met.
Mm.
Remember, this is Andor starting years before Rogue One, because I think Andor is going to be younger.
We'll have to wonder if there's any Donnie Yen rumors out there. And of course,
hey, I'm all for more. Should have been a Jedi, Donnie Yen in Star Wars. I'll never get tired of that. But maybe Baze could show up in one of the episodes, so maybe they favor. It becomes an Andor release, kind of.
I think the only problem with Baze showing up, and maybe someone can correct me, but in the Rogue One movie, he was. I think Chirrut mentioned that he used to be is it a monk? Is Chirrut classed as a monk? Anyway, Baze was part of that order. So if it's historically back, you might get a different Baze, not the gun wielding badass that we got in Rogue One. But they just need to release the Rogue One base. I mean, it's just such a cool figure and such a
the fact they put out like
character.
the Tank Commander and all that, even though I know that didn't
exactly
have a face sculpt or anything like that, but it's still, I mean, it feels weird not to have, since he was shown at least. I mean, some of the other characters we never saw a figure of or something. You know, you kind of get like, there's not a Saw Gerrera. You never saw a prototype for that. So that one makes sense, but. Well, I mean, honestly, I just want to see what happens with Andor, and then see, because that's going to be that's a much longer series than we've had previously. I think it's 12 episodes or so. So
is it
the only thing
episodes?
I need from that is a DT specialist. That's like that's the main thing I need from Andor. Just give me a death trooper specialist, and I'm good.
Absolutely. No, I mean, but this is a pretty freaking epic release from last year. So I think that they're going to use, if it was my guess, guys, I would think, and let me know in the chat, what do you think? Because you're part of the panel here too. And as you could tell, I've got subscribers and Cantina insiders exclusively today on this panel. We did it before. We had we've done this before in the past. It's so good. I love to do this stuff in here. Do you think it's going to be one of these moments like last year? Could we be getting all Attack of the Clones, since we didn't in the summer showcase, and in the event that just that just passed, the San Diego Comic-Con with the New York Comic-Con? Could it be just some stuff out of the blue, or could it be, Luke, some figures that we have been waiting for? You know, they've teased that Cobb Vanth for a little bit, and then all of a sudden we got the Cad Bane, and then we got the Boba Fett. So you have to wonder, is it time for Chrysanthemum? Is it time for the Cobb Vanth? Is it time for something else?
Get a Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary, so that it would actually maybe come in the year of the 40th anniversary.
Well, that's next year.
That's
I know what's going to happen next year.
That's why I wouldn't. I'd actually like that. Maybe they have a chance that we actually get a figure.
Like when it releases that year.
That is the 40th anniversary. I mean, I know they're going to announce some next year.
And that's the other thing we got to talk about here in the last part of this here now. You talk about exclusives. So you know that whether it's a Stormtrooper lane, or a Royal Guard lane next year, that could be an exclusive.
Return of the Jedi, Han Solo.
Return of the Jedi Han Solo is another one. I mean, and Andor Han Solo could be coming.
Everything would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it would be very, very cool.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
I think that's more likely. I think we see Han for Return of the Jedi for sure. That's there's going to be so. I mean, that's an issue on backlogs, right? Can you imagine how many figures they would want to release for the Return of the Jedi anniversary?
Can we
My
get
goodness.
Is it possible, Luke, that we would actually get the Andor Han before the Bespin Han? What say you?
Yeah, I think so. I think the Return of the Jedi Han comes before Bespin.
We got the Luke Endor, we got the Leia Endor, we got the Scout Trooper we got so much from Return of the Jedi. It would fit in really, really well. And a lot of people haven't talked about it, but I brought it up quite a few times. With the release of that Scout Trooper from Return of the Jedi, they did put a Chewbacca in there, which is very, very interesting in one of the pictures. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I did, with the tree.
He's like kind of hiding with his sniper rifle.
Yeah, I mean, does that kind of suggest, Luke, that the Endor Han that you're talking about?
Yeah, maybe. Whatever they do with Chewie, they've got to fix Chewie. Hey, like I've got I think it's the New Hope Chewie, and I've had before the sequels Chewie, but that figure is close, but no cigar really. It's a hard one, I imagine. But the Chrysanthemum, I want to get all the Wookiees. Give me all the Wookiees.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'd like. Here it is again. some of the stuff that they also showed at New York Comic Con. The blurg was earlier in the year, but the Cobb Vanth, the Axe Woves, the Bo-Katan, the Casca Reeves. I don't know. I kind of think, Lane, it's Attack of the Clones. I feel like we may be getting.
I mean, I'm not gonna say there's zero chance on Aries. I mean, I'm not silly enough to do that because half the time we can't figure out what. Now, I would agree with someone was talking about earlier. Honestly, I would like to see figures that we've seen or had some viewing of before. That guy in the left-hand corner there. He's not my favorite character, but I think we should see a Cobb Vanth with a head sculpt, and that guy. I think before season 3, we should see that guy would be a perfect. Or if they were going to do an exclusive, like if they're not convinced he's going to sell enough in like a mass amount, do one of him with the head sculpt as a Comic-Con. I don't know if they've ever done one for New York Comic-Con. Someone in the chat who may be collecting for longer could mention. What if they did Cobb Vanth that is an exclusive for that thing with the head sculpt of Timothy Oliphant?
That'd be a great exclusive. That would be a really.
I mean,
good
they may not
exclusive.
think he's be willing to commit for him as a. So they could use that. They could see how well does that sell out, and then because he's going to be probably in some form or fashion, as a mod in season 3 of Mando. So if he sells out really quickly and everything like that. Maybe that encourages them. They'll do a Cobb Vanth as part of the season 3 Mando line, his modded form. At this point, because they've showed him for over a year, he needs that head sculpt. Don't put him out if he's not going to have a head sculpt because there's absolutely no point. But
I thought that he was going to within several months, within a few months, come out after the Cad Banes. I actually think with this guy, Lane, it's New York Comic Con or before, and you're going to see him with the head sculpt. My friend.
Yeah, you would not be in favor if Hot Toys went the cheap route and tried to just put him out, whether exclusive or whatever. They put him out with the head sculpt. You would probably tell them don't bother. Otherwise, if they weren't.
Talk to me about Reva's vision here. You know who that is, right? That's Dark Side.
Darth Vader.
That's Darth Vader. Even though it didn't have glowing eyes. It was kind of funny because people talk about that, and I agree. He also didn't have glowing eyes here.
You underestimate my power!
It's still Dark Side Anakin. It's still Darth Vader. And I don't see a chance, Luke, where it is just so crazy in the secondary market. And look, with this figure, what I see, when it's new, it's like in the thousands now. What it's used, 800, 900, depending on who's selling it, what it is what I'm seeing. You kind of average it out. It's like $1,000 figure. When you put in shipping and you put in the taxes, that's where it's at here. It's right up there with the 2-packs. It's very, very interesting. I just don't know, Luke, how long Hot Toys just says, we'll wait till the 3 years for the Revenge of the Sith anniversary. I mean, who knows where it'll be by then?
Yeah, I think. I missed out on this figure. I never purchased it, and I've just delayed buying it, and it's just got more and more and more and more expensive. So it's not something I'm going to buy now. I think the price for me is just a little too high on the secondary market. I think it's great. Yeah. I think it's a great figure, but
95 to 98% of collectors.
Yeah.
Or you can buy 3 other Hot Toys.
Exactly. I think the Clone Wars Anakin fills a little void of this in terms of having an Anakin inside your collection. But to both your points, calling him Darth Vader is 100% correct at this point, right? So getting a Darth Vader reveal of this for the Obi-Wan show, I definitely think they could, and he would sell out. Like people would go bananas for him for sure.
And Fabio says still 66 likes. Well, listen, I'll fill up table 66 if that's what it takes, because now that way we can match. But let's get those likes up, baby. Like really, really fast. Like really.
That's a little bit better. We got 77 now.
Hey,
That's what I'm talking about. Get your money for nothing and your hot toys for free. Anyway,
did it die straight?
Luke, I know I keep playing kind of question guy to you guys tonight. What do you guys think about this? Maybe as if since they're not going to do a straight reissue of Dark Side Anakin.
No, they can't because it wasn't. Well, they can't. They actually.
Yeah, well, I mean,
can,
they could, but I don't think they should. I don't think they should do the exact thing.
But I really think what they're going to do, Lane, and you can ask your question. And I've brought this up before. Fabio's brought it up before. You brought it up before. I think we're all starting to get a sense. If they put out, they had him, and I still think that scene when he was in the desert, where like Obi-Wan was with young Leia, and he was looking off. I still think he had glowing eyes in that scene. You have to like blow it up, but it looked like just dark side Anakin like this here. But all they got to do, besides Bo leave, all they got to do is come out with this from the Obi-Wan series and give you 2 head sculpts, and it gets people what they want.
Well, Aries, to put it in context, actually, you know your man, the Bo Lever, Bo Dallas. You know he's actually dating Liv Morgan, the current SmackDown Ladies Champion, in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, we got to get Bo Dallas. Who wants Bo Dallas on the 6 scale cantina? I bet you I can get Bo on.
But what if here's what I'm thinking that they could do for like kind of trying to do a dark side Anakin, Darth Vader, light side Anakin or whatever, like Revenge of the Sith style one without doing a reissue. You know how for some of the figures they've had like the Cad Bane, where they have an alternate facial sculpt that you can stick on it. What if they had like a regular light side Anakin facial sculpt, not even a full facial sculpt, but like face you could remove. And then you could also have one like this with the dark eyes that you could stick on. And then that could be, I don't know, whatever the heck they would name it. Like, Anakin Skywalker Jedi Temple Assault or something like that. Whatever. Like more from Obi-Wan or something. Mm-hmm. What if they did something like that? So it's sort of a reissue, but still also keeping the exclusivity of the Dark Side Anakin. Maybe something like that could work so you could have both kind of together.
I think that's viable, Lane, and I think Lane and Luke. I think everything is on the table. I mean, I could also see as well that they changed the hair sculpt because like look here, he's very I have this figure, and some of us know this figure and how it is, but look at how messed. Well, look at how messed up his hair is, in this scene.
You underestimate my power.
So they can easily change the hair like they did how many times with the Luke figures, right? Right, Luke? No pun intended.
Or they did with the Clone Wars Anakin, since it's the same facial sculpt.
Yeah.
I mean, right there it's different. They could also give you. Yeah, go ahead, Luke.
I don't think they'll reissue the glowing eyes, or obviously the base that he comes on, because I think then it devalues the exclusives in that capacity. But I do think we'll get a Darth Vader reissue from the Obi-Wan show.
Now, Luke, you bring up a great point. Luke, let me ask you this then, because I've thought about that, and you bring up a great point. Let's say they put out Dark Side Anakin, they call him Darth Vader. You get you get a couple of head sculpts. Everyone's like, oh my god. Then they realize they actually don't have the red glowing eyes. What does that do to this figure? Because it's already killing it.
This figure in general just keeps going up and up. I don't think even with a subtle difference of a re-release, this necessarily goes down substantially. I think this, particularly with the base and that scene, I think it's always going to stay where it is, or maybe not continue to climb because we're in uncharted territory. Like Aries, you would know this more than anyone. Like these are the most expensive hot toys ever now, right? In the secondary market.
They're very, very high. Like I say, I'm seeing the used ones go, and Lane, you sold one for about $810, right, Lane?
Ooh. Before shipping.
Wow.
Yeah. Before shipping.
It was like $900 in total.
$900 in total. And then it was going up. So it goes between 800 to 1,000 used. And then we're seeing it new. I mean, honestly, when it goes new, I mean, I could bring these up for you here, Luke. Right here, sold
Not even a best offer. $1,600.
Yeah.
Not including the shipping, not including. Wait, Luke. But wait. That's not it. New. $1,700 on August 14th.
Whoa. That is insane money for a 1/6 figure. That's insane.
So Luke,
I wouldn't.
What you're saying is you're all in. You're hopping on eBay right now to go see if you can track one down.
No,
yeah,
I can't.
Said,
it's
used, it goes for way less.
That or Prime 1 statue you could go buy.
Oh, you could buy so much for $1,700. I mean, you could buy some beautiful master replicas. You could, that's an insane price for a 1/6 figure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely insane. So you have to wonder just how long with this that it continues to that they continue to just Hot Toys sits back. I don't think that they're sitting back because they gave us a KX Enforcer droid. Goodness sake, Lane, from the book of Boba Fett. Okay. The reissue of K2SO, and the KX Enforcer droid was in there as was in a vision too. But gosh, we saw Dark Side Anakin in quite a few visions.
Well,
I just think they're going to reuse this.
Look at that new stealth suit Captain America. That exclusive for Shanghai, their new store, like literally was in Endgame for like I think 5 seconds, and they put out a new version of that figure with a new body and the whole shebang. So
look at this.
Oh, wow. Oh, is that Hawker's toys? Oh yeah.
Speaking of Hawk Wars, I mean, and Tarkin, and this is actually, like sometimes with Hawk Wars, you get $15 off or $10 or something. Best offer to coupon, just straight out sold, just gone. Like, oh, okay, great, and used. Not everything he puts up is used. This one's used. I mean, you can see from the box.
Even
but
from that picture, you can see still that facial sculpt. Even in comparison to all the years of advancement and everything, you can just look at that picture and see that it holds up against even some of the modern figures.
Yeah, this face sculpt, all of the older male portraits they do are just absolutely superb. I don't know what it is about them that they just absolutely nail it. And this one it's so lifelike.
All right.
It's unbelievable.
Luke, staying with you, speaking of Rogue One, this figure is like insane. And the 2-pack, forget about it. It's over the $1,000 tier range for the 2-pack. And this figure is 600 something, low 600s tier range. He was in Rogue One. He's in the Bad Batch. What do you think? Could we get an animated series using this head sculpt? Could we get a Rogue One of Tarkin?
Yeah, potentially. I'm not sure. I would love. I mean, I think they need to make more Imperial officers and more things along those lines. Like, I think the diversity in the Hot Toys releases needs to lean towards that a little bit more. But my gut tells me they won't re-release a Tarkin. But again, he would be another great opportunity to, do something as an exclusive at one of these shows. The Rogue One Tarkin, I think, would be a great character to have if they started to expand on that, for sure. I mean, he's such an awesome character. He's one of my favorite story arcs.
Well, you know who else is pretty awesome? A little droid called R2D2.
Hello.
And with the R2D2, which I actually think is better than this one, with the way that I love the weathering for the Attack of the Clones. People, I mean, 455
with another R2 on the thing, which has got a lot of the similar stuff as this one too.
And 15 bids.
Yeah, it's
outstanding seller. Look, almost 400, Lane. That included 20 inch, so over $500, and you can get this way cheaper, by the way, if you pre-order it. But with the weathering, but geez, are you surprised?
No, I mean R2D2. I mean, this is probably still going to be considered the best R2 at the end of the day
because it's an OT one.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I would put it for collectors who are willing to spend that much, which, I think probably this is more original trilogy fan or would be willing to spell it, where there's even though it's a little ways away yet from coming out, for a $201 that's like, $100 and something more cheaper that they could get, which is still R2D2. That's like, an OT fan's going to be willing to spend that kind of money and probably have the money to be able to spend that much.
Listen, we got to fill people up at table 2. It's the last call.
Of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them.
Guys, we're at the 3-hour mark, and that's all I got. But I had so much freaking fun. Luke, we've got to do this again. Is it possible?
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
You? Yes, again, I say yes. And Lane, always fun.
Luke, thank you for being on tonight. It was really fun.
Lovely to meet you, Lane.
I need to, but however, before we go, Aries got to show off one thing. So I'm going to show off here Rogue One Vader. So you guys can see.
Oh, you're going to rub it.
No, I'm not doing to rub it in.
No, I'm
doing it. I'm doing it.
Oh, I need it. I need it, though. My coffee's going to spill.
I am showing this guy is because if you are trying to, if you have budget or you think you're interested, I can say from personal experience, I love the Rogue One Vader. It's very good. If you're interested in it, it's definitely something worth doing. However, as I always say, we've got what I think is going to eventually be a better Vader. That
freaking Vader,
Obi-Wan,
yeah.
That Obi-Wan Vader is going to be, I think, really cool. But these Vaders, I mean, except for I guess the New Hope one,
they're crazy.
New Hope one,
they're crazy.
Good talk, but great figure, Aries. And Aries, come on, man. You can let me have this one. You've got so many other ones and everything like that. That you can just go 1 little 2 little 3 little 4 grills, 5 little 6 Star Wars hot
well, listen.
Grills.
That's funny as heck. I'm going to go this real quick. Remember tomorrow, and I know, Luke, you'll be on, and Lane, you'll want to be on. Tomorrow, 6scalecantina.com. You can see it here if you're a Cantina insider. Next show, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. Hot Toys versus the world. So I will go ahead and give you my take on Hot Toys, versus InArt, Hot Toys versus the world. You don't want to miss that tomorrow. All you got to do, besides believe, is just join the channel. Do appreciate your support. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Listen, baby. That is Lane. Check Lane out. You can see him a lot on Collecting Weekly. You can check him out also on Geek It Out, and you can see him here at 6 Scale Cantina. Luke, you have a channel, right, Luke?
I'm on TikTok and Instagram. I just post my geeky content on those two. But yeah, it's just that Star Wars bloke on both of those. So
you got some awesome stuff on there. I know I follow you on Instagram, so don't forget to check out and follow the Star Wars bloke on Instagram. I got all my social media as well within the video description. We talk a lot about the show here on Facebook, on Instagram. Tomorrow I'll be live for Insiders, 11 a.m. Guys, this was fun. I'm going to do it with you again.
Don't forget, you had the most important. You had the question before you go tonight that I did not tell you, but I figured you would know anyway from reading my mind. Who would win in a beam struggle? The Hot Toys Wizard or Son Goku?
The Hot Toys Wizard.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first, everyone. Thank you again for being with us tonight.
Stay thirsty, my friends.
See you, everyone.
Take care, everybody.